Ahoy hoy and welcome to Players in Book, an actual play D&D game with four of my friends. Katie.
Hi, I'm a friend. Hi, everybody. My name is Katie Downey, aka Goblin Katie. I'm cool, I promise. I am playing the Triton College of Eloquence bard, Dominique Jamon. And unfortunately, we do not have a code this week for Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realm. I apologize, but I'm going to see if I can get one for us on Monday, and we will post it on our socials. So if you are of the Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms persuasion, keep an eye on our socials tomorrow, and or
Yeah.
check back during the week, and we'll share it. Okay, that's me. Go, someone else now.
Hi, I'm Lauren Urban. I'm a friend. I'm also a cool person. Today, I'm playing Fairlos, who is not just a Tempest cleric who is a tabaxi, but also apparently the mom of this entire boat.
You're just now figuring that out?
Oh, no, no. She knew she was the captain. Lauren knew she was the mom.
Hello. I am Jen Kreshmer. You can find me on the interwebs as at DreamWisp. Um, I am playing your friendly neighborhood tsunami druid, Rivulet, who apparently I guess I'm a friend, I'm cool, and also I'm Fairlos's child. Um, is that
The,
now on the list?
yes, apparently adopted. I don't know. I think we're co-parents at this point. You know what? I don't even want to know.
Yeah, it's true. I might be a co-parent. I don't know. Yeah, I babysit. And yeah, that's me.
I feel like that's probably a good thing because I think I require constant supervision.
I think the only child among the four of us is Dominique.
It's true. Dominique,
That's
it's
fair.
Dominique and three parents.
Mhm.
And Snonky.
And
And
Snonky.
Snonky.
Snonky who's there to mom arm.
It's a
And let's
new
be
show
real.
on ABC coming this fall.
Let's be real. The only one she listens to is Snonky. So
Rightly so.
Makes sense.
For those who are new and joining us, Snonky is Rivulet's friend whom she summons, who is a water creature, um, most often appearing like a droplet of water.
Big droplet of water. Hi, everybody. I am Latia. I'm also a friend. And I think what confused me about what Sim said was that it sounded like he was confused about the number of friends that he had. Not so much that we were friends. He's like, four? Like, yes, four. uh, but today I am the third mom of this group. I'm the cool aunt. I'm the awkward aunt. I'm not the cool aunt. I'm the awkward aunt. Essequa Havenwright, everyone's favorite dragonboard blade singing wizard, who wears sunglasses at night because it's cool.
Fair enough. I am Jeremiah Smarian, and me being cool was never in question, so I don't feel the need to restate it. Um, I am a creator on the SCP Wiki, a YouTuber, and I'm just going to get straight into our session summary from the last episode after doing a little bit of credits. Hold on. Cartography by Shay and Peku, Cartography by Shay and Peku Sci-Fi, Maps by Luke Stratton, Maps by Eightfold Paper, Music by Tabletop Audio, Character Tokens by Greek 46, Custom Tokens by Shay and Peku Tokens, Overlays by Brian Podell of Exploding Dice, Custom World Map by Frecklesketches, and thank you to our moderators, Billith and Strike Redkite. And I'm thinking a little bit of Dominique this week as well. I'm sorry,
yeah, that's right.
Katie.
I'm moderating you.
This is episode 15 of Players and Books first campaign, the Secondhand Souls. And let's go over our session summary from episode 14, the previous episode. So, previously on Players and Book. It was a terrible thing to undergo. But during the year I stood there, I had time to think that the greatest loss I had ever known was the loss of my heart. L. Frank Baum, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. The second-hand souls found themselves at the bottom of the ocean, having just finished speaking to Oberon from the Feywild beneath. Their crewmates, Charles Moriarty and Elizabeth Windrucken, sorry, have just begun and ended, through some temporal shenanigans, their own adventures in the Feywild beneath. The souls head upwards, finding the once water-filled passage to now be dry, and finding the dancing automaton at the top of the stairs to have fallen to pieces. The souls come together and begin the process of trying to repair the automaton, mostly out of compassion. The scholar begins the process by determining the purely mechanical solutions. The philosopher spends time mending the shattered soul, and the acolyte uses Speak with Dead to ask important questions, including consent on the repairs. The souls manage to repair her good as new, with the philosopher having an encounter with a flaw in reality along the way. From there, they begin to quiz the newly restored automaton. Much is learned, and eventually the souls leave the watery music box. Upon arrival at the surface, they are greeted by Elizabeth and Charles. It is 4:24 p.m. on Rath's Day, the 19th of Dreams. The sun is still up and will be for quite some time. And somewhere far from here, a queen is yelling at her impertinent daughter.
I have one fun fact before we begin this actual game of D&D.
Yes.
Did you know that L. Frank Baum's name is where Elphaba's name comes
Oh, I did not
Thanks to
actually.
Gregory Maguire.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. I did not know that. No.
Elphaba from L.
Mhm.
Frank Baum is Elphaba's is where Elphaba's name comes from.
That's
That's
awesome.
so
Which, by the
cool. I
way,
didn't know
if you
that.
are a grown-up person, if you are not a grown-up person too, I guess, but you should read the Wicked book, which is very different than the Wicked musical and
different.
soon-to-be movie. Very
So
different. Really awesome, but very different. But
Mhm.
grown-up
Mm.
themes.
Like our
It's
show,
okay.
Grown Up Themes. Well, kind of.
Mostly, I mean, our existential crises, grown-up themes, absolutely.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah. You guys are on the ship. Right now,
Is that the episode title?
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
what grown-up themes?
Grown-up themes.
Existential
about to
crises
be,
are Grown
yeah.
Up Themes. That might be too long, but yeah.
We'll
That's-
we'll,
yeah.
we'll wait and see, but we'll hold that
No,
one in
but
reserve.
that might go on the t-shirt list.
We need a T-shirt that just says that's going on the T-shirt list. Actually.
I can
Yeah.
put that on the t-shirt list as well.
Yeah.
Is that like Inception T-shirt? Is that meta
Yeah.
T-shirt at that point?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what are we doing
The-
on this boat?
The sun is just above the horizon, as it has been for quite a while now. The ship, or I should say, Fro is helping pull up the anchor as you guys are getting back underway. I think you guys at the end of last session, and I don't want to give to tell you your intentions, but it felt like you were ready to start quizzing Charles and Elizabeth about what happened on their adventure in the Feywild.
Yeah, I was trying to get us underway first before that happened.
Yeah.
So as long as we are now moving, the quizzing can continue.
Sure. But yeah, Charles is actually behind the wheel right now.
He's not anymore because I've taken over the wheel so that he can
Okay,
be
fair
quizzed.
You want
Sure.
somebody else to take over the wheel so you can focus on quizzing?
I got everything I needed to say out when I scolded the two of them. So while I'd appreciate it if you stayed close by so that I could listen in, I'm pretty sure I can steer the boat and listen at the same time. But I appreciate the offer.
Got it.
What do you guys want to know, really? I'll tell you anything I can.
Where did you go?
We went to the Feywild. We spent most of the time out on the ocean, some of the coastal areas.
And anything interesting you find on the way?
Not really. Nothing super interesting, no.
I mean, you spent a year there. It seems very difficult to believe nothing interesting.
Uh-huh.
I'm inciting.
I was gonna say I was gonna make one, but I don't think I need to. This is so
Yeah, I feel
unlike
like
him.
I,
But I will
want
make
to-
it.
I want to try to tell if he's not saying anything out of embarrassment, or does he seem like he wants to talk but can't, or Is he behaving like Charles should?
He is certainly, if it seems as though he is certainly more confident than the Charles you remember, like a little
Okay.
bit. Because
Okay.
I've always said he's always had like a little bit of a nervous energy about him. You don't really
Yeah.
detect that as much anymore.
I need to know why Latia was so shocked
I know.
right in the middle of
I
that.
had
That face.
I'm always thinking, and I'm thinking about Charles and Elizabeth's relationship that I did not know happened. So I have a thought that I might save it for a bonus action.
Oh, and an insight check at the end of last session seemed to indicate that these two, if they were dating at any point, are no longer doing so.
Exactly.
That's an
Which
important
is
note.
related to the thought that I had, but I'll save it for a bonus action.
Um,
Charles, look at me.
Yep.
Do you honestly expect me to believe absolutely nothing interesting has happened when the two of you came back acting the way you have? We are shipmates, are we not?
Yep.
So why are you afraid to tell us what happened?
We became pirates.
No, did you really?
Yeah, we were pirates. We
Okay, I need to
pirated.
hear all about this.
Okay,
This is
wait, you
amazing.
weren't just regular pirates, you were Feywild pirates, which is like objectively cooler. What the heck, man?
Yeah. So what? Okay. So okay. I'm sorry. When we went in there, everything was fine for like a few months, and then we went out on a ship that sank. We actually got sank by pirates, and then they offered us to come up onto the pirate ship. We didn't realize that we were making a deal with a fey creature when we accepted them taking us up onto the ship, and so we were forced into a year-long contract aboard the ship, which was fine because it was really fun and cool. But also, we may have pirated a lot of stuff.
Did you loot anything good?
I not that I was able to bring back with me. We had to leave
Oh, that
everything
sucks.
behind.
But wait a minute, hold on. Why would you not know you were making a deal with a Fae when you were in the Feywild?
I didn't know that the captain of this ship was a fairy
Okay,
creature. They
what did
just
you
look like
think
an.
they were?
Just
Assume
look like a.
everybody's a Fey and getting ready to make some kind of deal with you when you're in the
Yeah.
Feywild.
They
well,
just looked like they were
and
extra
isn't
elvish.
wasn't Elizabeth's specialty is the Feywild? Wouldn't she have known better?
I am. Is this on the up and up? I feel like this isn't on the up and up. This is me asking out a game.
You
Yeah,
gotta
this is
make an
Insight
check.
again, basically.
Yeah, make an insight.
I have another thing that I'm curious about, which is I know that my mentor um is a shapeshifter.
Hmm.
Are there signifiers of that I know about that I might be able to recognize?
I think you could. I feel like you could make a perception or an investigation check if you'd like,
Okay.
um, to get with a fairly high DC, based on your previous experience with shapeshifters.
Okay. I'll give it an investigation plus guidance, perhaps.
I'm gonna. Oh wait. Sorry.
It's
Yeah.
not gonna
So
it's
let's
not gonna be high
resolve.
enough, I don't think.
Yeah.
Let's
But
let's
see.
resolve the insight check first. As far as you can tell, Dominique,
No.
um,
I got a 9.
he's telling the truth as far as you can tell. He seems actually somewhat excited to be able to tell you about it, but he was also embarrassed in that he made a mistake that he made a mistake in the first place.
Sure.
Rivulet,
Yes.
as far as you can tell, with an 18, this is definitely Charles.
Okay.
What is Elspeth doing while
Elizabeth is sitting on the edge of the ship with her feet hanging off.
nearby or somewhere else?
Where she is on the map, so it's just about half, far away from Charles, roughly. But
I'm gonna go over.
I just
and
want to
hang
look
out.
back
Oh,
at what go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go sit with her. She's gonna go. All right, well, good on you, Charles. I'm
Okay,
proud
well,
of you.
she
And I'm
she
gonna go
she
sit
she
next
actually did warn me, and I didn't listen, and then she joined me because she didn't want me to. Yeah.
All right, well, I'm I'm gonna go chill with
Also,
them for a moment.
what were we supposed to do? Just float in the ocean until we died?
What's as exciting as you joining a pirate crew? That's amazing. But I'm just going to go check on her. So you all do your thing. And I'm just going to walk over and sit down next to her, same way she's sitting, and not say a word, just sit next to her.
That's fair. I will say, I mentioned this at the end of the last session. We'll mention it again just to give context here, especially since Rivulet just did like a thorough examination of Charles to make sure that he was Charles. Both Charles and Elizabeth have slightly longer, pointy ears than the last time you saw them.
Okay. Is
So
that
yeah, I'm. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, is that something that's typical of people who've spent time in the Feywild?
People who have spent time unbound to a powerful fey creature, yes.
So that's a result of it's a like direct result of the deal.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll let y'all do your thing.
I'm just looking back at my notes of when we talked to Benjamin about this. So he told us that he was a weapon from a program. So that the changelings were weapons from the program. Did he tell us anything else about the program? We know that it's why he became a philosopher. We know that it was related to the old gods being Kasari citizens and that the god in the heart was a philosopher. But like that was sort of what I have in my notes about that block. But did he give us any other details about the program that
Not really,
created the
no.
changelings?
In fact, when you talked to him about it, he seemed a little bit like not open about his past as a potential assassin slash weapon.
Okay. So he was an assassin.
That was the purpose.
Of
That was the purpose of the changeling weapons. Generally, they were infiltrators slash assassins. That was the original purpose under the weapons program that he was created for. I think he also told you about how when he was basically kept in a tank when he wasn't under use, sort of Winter Soldier style.
Okay.
And then at some point they just never reopened his tank because the Empire fell.
So that's how he survived as long as he did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he's basically in a stasis chamber.
Some archaeologist or someone uncovered his,
Got it.
place, and he's like, "Oh, hi. What the fuck?"
Okay.
In a way, it's probably, I mean, it sucks, but also for the best because he probably slept through the years that would have been the most deadly and got woken up when there was a civilization again. So
yeah,
silver lining, but still. Oof.
Although one important note that may be relevant to your inquiries with regards to this, not that I'm saying anything definitive about anything, but if you're looking for more, are there more changelings in the world? Absolutely. This was not a singular sort of deal. There were many of him created.
And has that program or something similar, do we know if that's continued?
It's make make an insight check.
Okay.
While this all is happening, right inside the world.
It is actually what's being done here. Yes.
While this all is happening, I'm just gonna take a second because we're at a place where I feel like since we're just sailing, I'm gonna take a short rest, do my arcane recovery, and get a second level spell slot back.
From a natural
if we can do it a short
Yeah.
rest, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're gonna have time to do a short rest before. Nothing in between now, and you're not gonna have combat. I don't think for any in between here and the island anyway.
Oh,
so
ye of little faith.
Yeah, unless you guys decide to figure something out on your own. But no, right. For the insight check was for ask that question again. I'm sorry.
The insight check was about if those kinds of programs still existed in the world. And
Not
I have
actively.
no clue. I have no clue about any of that.
You would know if they are. They don't seem like they'd be active because you would have probably heard about it. Like that's just a maybe you have definitely heard of other changelings in the world, even with a natural one. Like you've heard of other changelings in the world. This isn't like you don't know nothing at all. But just from the world information, there are other changelings in the world. But if there was a program to create more of them, you ain't heard of it.
Okay. Okay.
Dominique, you were sitting down to speak with Elizabeth.
I'm just gonna kind of sit there for a few moments, just kind of sitting next to her, staring out, and then just kind of Dominique just kind of tilts her head and sort of leans slightly closer to her. You all right?
I've been better, but I'm all right.
Did you have fun?
That is true. Yes, there was lots of fun.
I look forward to hearing the stories. What happened with you and Charles?
Turns out, it took a little bit of time for him to figure it out, but Charles isn't really interested in a romantic relationship at all, ever.
Mood.
Good thing to figure out before it moves too far.
Yeah, it would have been nice to know before we'd been dating for like a year, but you know,
Oh, that would
I
be.
think he was forcing it, and it just wasn't.
You all right with that? You holding up all right?
I'm all right with it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not like
All right.
a big deal or anything. It just
Yeah.
feels. I mean, it wasn't a wasted year because pirate, but
Right. Still had fun when you had fun.
yeah, could have been more fun. Is the thing.
Did you ever hmm? Hmm?
No.
All right. Well, that's good then.
Hmm.
So what I'm
Grown-up
hearing,
themes.
what I'm hearing then is we need to be on the hunt. You are still interested in other people, right?
Sure. Although I might take a little bit of time for myself, I think.
Oh, that's fair. Well, when you're ready to get back in the pool, you let me know. I will be your wing woman.
Yeah. I'll keep that in
So,
mind.
did you do anything really spicy while you were pirates?
Uh, like what? I mean,
Did you raid
we,
any ships?
yeah, of
Oh,
course.
that's awesome. Did you
What
make
other?
any enemies?
Oh yeah. There was this one guy. He actually was like a fish person, and he had his own pirate crew. And like the rule was that pirates aren't supposed to fight other pirates, right? Like we go against the organized, but there's not any like it was funny that they had those rules because there was no organized government in the Feywild. So there was nothing to rebel against. It was just like cities here and cities there, no big unifying anything.
So they
So
were
like
basically rebels without a cause.
that's really clever. I like that.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you. That is so weird. Why would that would be really boring.
No, because we were raiding all sorts of ships, and what was really good was that our captain was like very much against killing people if we could avoid it. I mean, we killed a lot of people actually. That's that to be
You
fair.
were pirates. That
Yeah.
sounds about right.
But but we were fighting against these like they were like their own organization of pirates, and then we had our own organization of pirates. We had this big fleet battle towards the end of our term of our contract. It was so cool. I'm sorry you had to miss it.
I am too. How did they take you leaving?
Oh, well, at the end of your contract, they give you an opportunity to, I guess, reapply. They offered it. They said we served out our time, made sure that we were able to get to land, and they said if we wanted to leave, we could leave. So we figured we needed to come back because,
We were a bit worried.
I was
It really
surprised
wasn't that
when we,
long, but given that it was Faye, we were
yeah,
a little
and
hyper aware.
yeah, and so we came out here. We actually walked onto the ship with a water walk, and then yeah.
Nice. So, do we need to worry about any enemies popping back up?
Probably.
Nice. All right, well, if I can ask you for a favor, then can you maybe give us a list of who is most likely and a general description of them?
Sure.
That
I
would be
would
fantastic.
definitely say avoid any of the Feywild tears that we might run across. You know how
All right.
those are all over in
Yeah.
these oceans. So
All right. This sounds good. And did you leave with any good allies that we might be able to work with in the future?
The unnamed captain, sure.
Oh, that is a good title. Is that who you served under?
Yep.
The unnamed captain. That's pretty badass. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little jealous.
I wanted to find out what her name was, but I think there
Ooh,
was some
sure.
Feywilding shenanigans that were going on there.
All right, well, now you see I have a new task, and that is
Oh.
to assist you in finding out what their name is.
Hmm,
Real
I like it.
quick, not that Fairlos hears any of this conversation. Are Feywild terrors on the ocean really a thing that we know
They're
we
not
need to?
super common.
Okay.
Yeah, but they are a thing. They're not
Okay.
super common, but they are a thing. In fact, that was Elizabeth's focus of study at the Mariners Academy.
Okay. All
Um,
right.
Got it. So not just the Feywild, but like specific, like, well, the Feywilds and including these tears that can
yeah. The
cause.
sun dappled isles are known worldwide to be the thinnest part of the world when it comes to the barrier between the Feywild and the material plane.
Okay.
Is there a common interaction or any sort of more prevalent um, presence of the Feywild in Brescian lore and history?
Yes, but as so if you're thinking purely of like Brescian education, the
I'm just thinking
Feywild.
like proximity. Is it more?
Well, what I'm
Would
saying
I
is,
be
is that
more nervous around Brescia about Fey interactions?
yes,
Okay.
because the Feywild to the Brescians is considered like not the ultimate enemy, but like
Mhm.
they're if you're not careful, the fairies are going to come and get you at night, sort of
Right.
deal.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Um,
Cool. Cool.
Like a Celtic relationship, or is it like because we are such an ordered society that chaos
yes,
is
Good
terrifying to
both.
question.
us?
It's
Both.
actually
Okay.
Okay.
both, a little bit of both, but yeah,
Okay. Got it. Well,
Brescia is
I
an
think.
extremely ordered, tiered, hierarchical society.
Mhm.
And the idea the Feywild is so antithetical to that, but the Feywild is also like right next door, for lack of a better way to put it. So
Right.
it's a whole thing.
Eh, I think we may have some fun adventures now that you've made that connection. Certainly, as we sail through the Isles, we will have to keep keep an eye out for those terrors a little more. And if you don't mind getting that list, I would very much appreciate it, just in case we run into somebody and you're not on hand to say, "Hey, that guy, he's an asshole."
Well, I would say if you run into any fish people as pirate captains, that would be a thing. But I think that you might run into fish people as pirate captains that aren't associated with the Feywild out here.
Uh,
So
I just have to ask, when you say fish people, there are those who would call my kind fish people. Are you saying people with more fish-like features, or how do you
she
mean fish
is
people?
going here. I'll show you exactly what I'm
Are
talking
we
about. She
talking
is going to
Sawagan
use.
Token,
or
token,
That's what
token.
I'm getting at.
Well, I'm going to
I
show
don't know
you.
how to say
I'm going to show
Trout on legs. Trout
you.
on legs.
She is going to conjure up an illusion for you.
Oh.
That would stand out. Oh,
Shark
he's kind
on
of
legs.
cute, though.
Shark on
Yes!
legs. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That's
Wait,
even
wait.
better. That's even
I
better.
knock on the deck. Land shark.
Oh my God, I love her.
I
Admiral
clicked off.
Shark?
Shoot, I clicked off. Hold on. I gotta get back.
That is so adorable.
Oh, that's so cool.
How do you get back
I
to?
I
Thank
have
you.
to redo it.
That is ridiculously adorable.
Yeah,
She's got a cravat.
It's so good.
I love that so much.
And just the smile is everything.
Yeah.
That may be my favorite token.
I think that's, yeah, I think that's the best one yet.
It's amazing. Right, well, as the
And like, I'm sure she's still hot like all of our NPCs,
yeah,
but there's also just so much charm in this character. Like, there's so much personality here.
so that's the one we need to watch out for. Is a captain that looks like that, or is that
Yes.
just a captain? Okay,
yeah, that's Sharptooth, Captain Sharktooth.
Captain
Not shark,
Sharktooth?
Sharptooth.
Sharp.
Wait, this is
With a P.
Yeah.
This is
Wait.
the other. This is the opposition captain that they were fighting against,
Gotcha.
not the
Oh.
one. This isn't Captain No Name. This is Captain Sharptooth.
Not to be confused with Captain Grimtooth.
Mm.
Yeah.
The whole
I
Teeth
figure by this
family
point
are.
we've been loud enough that like everybody can hear. So like
This
we
part of the
all,
conversation,
yeah, just so
okay.
that everybody has the
Yeah.
opportunity to have
Yeah.
seen that image.
And
I
I would
figure we've
show
been
you
loud
an
enough.
image. I would show you an image of Captain No Name, but I can't.
Oh, is it
Like
a
literally
character?
can't.
It was part of our contract.
Oh, I love it.
Mm.
That is so smart.
Could
I really like
you
this captain. I want to meet
could you
her.
describe her to us?
No.
So it's a
Oh,
complete it's a complete
Yeah.
obfuscation.
blackout
She has
situation.
she has no identity, no face as far that I can show you. I mean, she has a face, but
And
She is my new favorite.
at this, Fairlos will actually call out, just to be clear, you know what she looks like. You just can't tell us.
yes, or describe it in any way whatsoever.
It's like the ultimate NDA.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I think that's fine because in the end, we just need you to be able to point them out if they show up. Otherwise, if it had been wiped from your memory, then all we've got is a name that's no name.
yeah, and that would be
Sumerian.
sad.
I'm sorry. I have a question.
Hit me.
What is the name of? There are 3 captains, I believe, currently fighting for control of the
Oh.
main captain.
My
Position
notebook is not
within-
here.
Huh?
I might
I have it. Give me 1 second.
Okay,
I can tell you.
Yeah.
the chick.
There are 3 captains. You got Maxwell Morris, you've got Kasdan Clayton, and Christine Saxton.
Saxton. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, that's right, because I was thinking vote Saxton. That was my thing to remember her. Happen to have ever heard of Captain Saxton, have you?
Yes.
She is quite an amazing individual. Would you say she is about on par with this this captain that you served?
Maybe.
All right. Just a hopeful thought. Because that would be really badass. I'm just saying. So when I grew up in Russia, she was kind of a big deal. Like everyone knew who she was. She was this amazing badass sort of fight the power sort of figurehead. Not even figurehead. She actually did shit. And so it would be really fucking cool in my book if she were a captain in both realms.
That would be fun.
Wouldn't it just?
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for the chat.
Absolutely.
So I expect you to show us all the ropes since you've been a pirate for a year. You and Charles should be able to run this ship by yourselves, right?
Well, I mean, yeah. We did walk like I think 6 miles to get here, so I'm just taking a little bit of a rest.
Sure. You have the rest of the day off. Tomorrow you can handle all the sailing and things, and we'll just have an extra lion.
Fairlos, you visibly see her react to just take the rest of the day off, but she doesn't actually say anything. It's a little bit of a mixture of what the heck do you mean she has the day? They have the day off, and also it's just not worth it.
And Esakoi, who is like laying belly down on the deck of the ship, like flipping through her spell book, looks up with the confused face, like we couldn't handle like the taking the literal interpretation of your words. We couldn't handle this ship ourselves. What makes you think they could? So she's just kind of like got her head cocked, looking at you like, how?
I just smile back.
I would like now that we're done with Elizabeth for a little bit here.
Yeah.
If we want to circle back around to anybody who was essentially interrogating Charles and would like to continue.
Nah, I heard everything that I needed to. So
We lost all interest in Charles.
Understandable. Okay.
I'm not gonna say I lost interest, but certainly, yeah. I think actually she'll say this out loud. If there's a little bit of a lull and Charles is right there, she'll say, well, I assume with all of that time spent in the Feywild, there's no way that you could recap everything all at once. We'd be here forever. So I just expect that you'll give us the important bits that might be relevant to what we're doing right now, and then you can.
I'm gonna write a book.
And then you can write a book. Absolutely.
Yes.
Was Sharptooth, she was referred to, or Sharptooth was referred to in the feminine, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. It begins to rain.
Wait, one second.
No, my hair! It was so smooth.
Wait, is it
You
your
live underwater.
exactly?
And we were just underwater for like hours. So I'm just.
Well,
What's
didn't
up?
Oberon say that Charles had made a deal?
Yes. He made a deal with Oberon specifically to go to the
Did we
Feywild in the
know
first
anything
place.
about what that deal was?
No.
Just the deal.
Is that something we would like to explore, perhaps?
Seems like Dominique agrees.
How would we?
You're gonna
I
hurt
don't
your
have
neck.
the rapport
Right.
with him to explore that, so I'm gonna let one of y'all do that.
I
Lauren,
mean, I also agree, but I feel like we've grilled him enough
Okay.
for now.
Well, hold on, Dominique. You and Essequa are the closest to Charles on the boat.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
But
saying you don't have the rapport.
I've just been hanging out with his ex-girlfriend.
Ah.
So I'm gonna
But
let
they're
someone
good.
else.
They're
They're
good.
They
good.
are, but I've
Yeah.
been doing a lot of talking, so I figured I'd let someone
Oh, fair.
else
Gotcha,
keep
gotcha.
talking for a little
Cool.
while.
and as far as finding out about the dream, the deal, Lauren, 100%. Yeah, we should find out. Like, was the going to the Feywild the good thing for Charles or the good thing for Oberon, and what was given in between? I think Fairlos won't bring it up simply because that he'll tell us when he feels like it's necessary. Like, all right, I chewed them out, and so I'm just laying the groundwork for I've chewed you out. We're good now. I've accepted your apology, so I just expect you to tell us if something important's about to happen. But
Also,
if,
contextually in universe, there's a lot of time. Like you guys know from your learn because the Feywild is is an area of study at the university. Um, a lot of times when a deal's almost every time when a deal is made, a lot of the details of the deal are not allowed to be repeated after it's concluded.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
that being said, if Riv wants to ask about it,
Yeah.
I'll at least back up a little bit with, like, at least tell us if it's something that we need to be worried about.
Are we doing that or are
Check chat in 1 second.
Okay.
Because I just want to.
That was a really good question to bring up because I didn't even think of that. So that's smart. You got the brains. I'm just
All right.
excited about pirates.
it begins to rain?
It begins to rain. I think Fairlos says this whole, I trust that you will tell us if there's anything that we need to know kind of thing. And then we're going to exchange a look, and then I'll just look back at Charles and say, like, do we need to know anything about about your deal with Oberon, or is that all settled?
I think that it's settled. Although Oberon technically owes us a favor.
You and Elizabeth, or us in general? Because he...
No, us specifically, me and Elizabeth,
Okay.
individually and together.
So then that's 2 favors to this ship from him.
That could be useful when I'm back on my own ship.
If he's here at the time. Okay. So it is, at this point, it is him that owes you and not you that owe him.
Oh yeah, I can't talk too much about the whys, but yeah.
That's really all that I was concerned about, is that it wasn't something that was going to come around and come up from under the water and bite us in the ass. So
Yeah, he said he wanted to do something really funny with time, but I don't know what it was.
well, let's just say after the conversation that we had with him, the funny thing he wanted to do turned out to be an existential crisis.
You guys do that a lot.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah,
of
it's
our
our
thing.
kind of our thing.
We should have named our company the Existential Crisis, to be honest.
Secondhand
like
crises.
Secondhand Souls is really, really cool.
It is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that we're
Yeah,
going to
that's
get anything
that's a
better.
solid one.
Mm-hmm. What just out of curiosity, did he ask anything about the we told them this out of game. We told them about the reactor, correct?
Oberon,
Yeah, I
yes.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, the rest of the crew.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, they've been
Did
filled
he
in
ask-
on pretty much everything except for details about Rivulet.
Okay.
But, like,
Did
the surrounding stuff, yes.
right. Did he ask anything about the twin divine reactor or the events surrounding that? Did you talk about that at all?
No, other than to say I mean, he did ask a question, and I said it would be better to ask other people. It didn't feel like I was okay talking about stuff it wasn't mine to tell him, I guess,
What
is the
was the
best way to put it.
question?
He just wanted to know, like, if anything weird had gone on with what was the word he used? Radioactive water?
That was his question to us, and we...
Interesting. Wait, so he actually called it radioactive water.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
I think that's what he called it with us, too.
No,
Mhm.
he called it poison water.
Yeah. He used the word
Did
contaminated,
not use the
poison.
word radioactive.
Ah. Okay.
So he knew exactly what it was, but he gave us a different, dumbed down description.
Can I, real quick, I don't know if this is like a retroactive insight check. Do I think that maybe the reason that Oberon used that term with us is because he didn't know if we knew that term, or...
Yeah, that's my thinking. He asked Charles about it and Charles didn't know. So then knowing that we were on Charles's ship, he dumbed it down to see if we had an idea about it.
But
I'm going to give this to you for free as a retroactive insight.
I feel like it was Trixie.
Well,
It was. You are correct. One of the easiest ways to get information from someone is to deliver them incorrect or incomplete information and let them
And see if they
you.
correct you.
which, funny enough, at the time, we did not. It wasn't until we walked away and said it's best that he knows everything.
Yep. I'm real glad we came clean on that right now.
Yeah, me too. You know, all things considered. So,
I wonder how much he actually knows.
Well, I mean,
Because he knows more than he let on to us, he knew. Given
Well-
he gave that exact term to Charles, he knew more than he pretended to us.
well, of course, but I just don't think he would. There's some level of he doesn't know how much we knew also
He is
because
unseelie.
well, yeah, I'm not saying that either one of us was in the wrong or in the right for revealing or concealing what we did.
Well,
I
and
just
very
said-
few people reveal everything they know in every
No,
conversation.
I understand that. But given the nature of what he is, and the fact that we are interacting with him, and he is already testing us, we need to keep in mind that he is even less of a friendly entity.
And we take it into consideration when we ask him to pay up on his favor.
Exactly.
I will say, I don't think that withholding information means you're not friendly.
No, but trying to catch people out in the way he did.
Again, discovering whether someone is being truthful with you, even in a way that is a bit deceptive, is not necessarily unfriendly. It's establishing a relationship.
I do not like the manipulation that was employed.
well, whether you like it or not, we did just come from me breaking his favorite doll. So I don't blame him for being a little reticent to talk to us about everything. Also, with a being that is that old and that powerful, of course he's gonna know a lot more than everything anywhere all at once. So but I do agree, as friendly as he might have come across, he's a powerful being with his own motives, and so we should be very careful when and if we ever call in that favor.
Mm-hmm. How heavy is it raining?
It starts slow, but it starts to get more and more heavy as the day continues on.
Hmm.
Um, it's not raining for a little while either. It's raining for hours.
I have druidcraft.
I wring my hair out occasionally, even though it just gets soaked again.
I feel like you might have druidcraft.
I don't know.
Or
That was
someone might have taken it. I feel like because we talked about the weather.
because we talked
element of
about somebody
druidcraft.
having a way to check the weather. Yeah, I thought somebody had it.
Not me.
I don't have it. I just have shape water. So at intervals, you catch Essiqua making like
Oh
little
wait,
dragons
did
out of raindrops.
I
It's from
thought
the magic
didn't
initiates.
didn't
'Cause
everyone? Yeah, didn't somebody get it as a magic initiate thing?
I'm
I
trying
feel
to
like
take
someone
it.
did.
I think I took druid for my, or no, I
Yeah.
took. What did I take?
Because
Or-
I didn't
I
get it
took
because I
sorcerer.
had my Goodberry.
You learn 2
Yeah.
cantrips.
But
I did take druid.
Everybody else got
I took gust, shape water, and absorb elements.
Yeah, it may have just been one of those things where it's like everybody thought about it and no one did it, and
Yeah.
then like we mentioned later,
Probably.
like it would have been really nice if someone had druidcraft. We're gonna be sailing a lot. Be nice to know the wind and
Fine.
rain and stuff.
Can I make a survival check to tell if this storm is moving toward being something more severe, or is it just going to stay as a annoying constant rain?
Or is
What's
there
your-
someone else on our ship who has
There we go.
druidcraft? Like,
Hey, that's right.
we
there's
have a
other
crew
people.
for a reason.
Elizabeth.
Oh,
Elizabeth-
You're alone. You're alone.
Elizabeth has druidcraft.
Okay, good.
I was gonna give you the survival check, and then if you failed, be like, but you also remember that there are other
Yeah.
people on your ship.
Mm-hmm.
But since it's already been suggested, yes,
Yeah.
Elizabeth has druidcraft.
Yeah. We will ask her if she can scope this storm and see what's going on.
She's gonna. You're gonna see little sparks of glitter and shiny leaves start, like illusory shiny leaves start to spread through the air, and okay, it's going to it's gonna rain for a day and a half, not
Ugh.
like heavy, but like off and on.
Right.
Oh, it's Seattle.
I'm going to have soggy drawers for the next 2 days, is what you're telling me.
And sometimes heavy, actually. So like it's not gonna always be raining like it is
the
right
rain
now.
will be heavy.
Yes.
Okay. I was
But-
really confused for a moment there.
Please, if you get a chance, every once in a while, would you check in on that? Make sure it's not getting any more dangerous. A little bit of water is not going to bother anybody too much.
Yeah. Tonight it's going to be a thunderstorm.
That is important to know. With that in mind, as we're sailing, because I'm at the helm, I'm going to keep an eye out for safe places to basically drop anchor that would be the safest for riding out a thunderstorm.
So
Which I'm
a
sure
thunderstorm is, yeah, it can be a normal, under normal circumstances it would be extremely dangerous. Having shape water available to you means that like if somebody is on the deck and is just like conscious of their surroundings and they spot a particularly big wave coming your way, you can possibly like lower its intensity considerably,
okay.
keep certain waves from piling up and turning, and like if you feel your ship's like more and more going this way, maybe you can tilt your ship a little bit more this way with the water. With your magical abilities, that's actually sort of the whole point of the school. Those magical abilities allow you to sail through storms relatively safely.
Okay. That
I'm gonna go take up my usual perch. I feel like my typical go-to spot is up in the crow's nest, and I just kind of tie off and sit up there, and I'll play instruments and sort of watch the horizon. Unless there's lightning, in which case I do not stay in the highest point.
Yes. Well, two things. First of all, I was going to say to Furloughs, but if you want to find a spot to drop anchor anyway, because you don't want to chance it, because it isn't perfectly safe,
Yeah.
right? Like it's still some danger, but it's not as dangerous as it would be for a normal wooden sailing ship and it's sailing through a storm. Um, then you absolutely can do that. Would you like to roll a survival check for that, or do you want to just chance it?
I mean, I'll roll, especially with the knowledge and like, what time of day is it? I got the sense it was like midday.
It is currently about let's call it 5:30.
Okay, so considering I've got several hours more before we would stop for the night anyway, I'm doing the thing where when you're taking a really long road trip and it's like, I don't have to use the facilities now.
Right.
But
Just kind of clocking.
Yeah, sometime in the next like hour could we find a. So, but yeah, you said a survival check?
Yes. It's one of those things where it's like you'd be like, if it gets really, really bad, then you can be like, okay, well, that's where we can go.
Yeah, that's only a 7.
Yeah, it's not a. Well, okay. Does anyone want to give advantage on that check?
I would like
yeah.
to. Yes.
And or guidance? We can have both.
Let's do both.
You are a crew working together.
Actually,
What
Lauren,
Essequit?
survival?
Wait, everybody talk at once. I didn't hear it. What'd you say, Essequa?
No, I was saying because what Essequit is doing right now, because she is really, really bored, she is standing on the bow of the ship with one foot up, with her goggles of night on, and just like braving the water. Like it would look cool if it wasn't so completely ridiculous.
Getting some clean scales.
It looks cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, if she sees that you're trying to kind of like pinpoint a place where we can kind of hang out for a bit, she would help.
And then Dominique, what were you asking?
Oh, I was just going to say, what is your survival? Because I can either assist or I can roll myself if mine's higher.
Mine's only a +3. I actually don't even have proficiency in it.
I've got a +4. Do you want the assist or would you rather?
I will say, currently, the guidance has already been applied to Furlough's roll, so we should just let Furlough's roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then go ahead.
Then I will roll again, and I will add.
But that is good information for the future.
Yeah. Thank you for the guidance.
All right, so
that gets me up to a 16.
16.
Yeah, well, yeah, we had a 4 from Rivulet earlier, but yeah, 16.
Oh, I'm
you
sorry, I
both
didn't
rolled
even
for.
Worked
Out great. So
yeah, I think I
16.
talked to all of you. I'm looking around. I'm like, hey, if anybody sees a place to be safe for the night, would you point it out? And I just get everybody in the crew.
So there is a fine line of like cleaving close to islands to be like, if we need to emergency stop here, that would be great. And also being too close to islands because the storm might shove you into it.
Yeah.
Who's our navigator?
I don't think you guys settled on like roles necessarily, other than captain.
Okay.
Maybe that is something you guys should want to discuss.
We should probably discuss that real fast because whoever the navigator is might know from watching the charts and the maps where a safe cove.
Well, I'm telling you right. Well, to be clear, I'm telling you right now, there are islands ahead of you. Sorry.
Yeah. Don't die.
No dying.
I'm fine.
Don't die. Essequa isn't your background keen mind?
It's not a thing I own.
No, it would be your background.
There are
Yeah,
islands
do you have
ahead
the
of
keen
you
mind,
that you can.
feat?
Oh, no.
No, it's not. It's not.
Oh,
I don't think it's a feat. It's. Oh, maybe it is a feat.
keen mind is the feat.
Keen mind
It's
is
the
the
feat.
feat, but I
Oh.
do
It's
not
one
have
that just
it.
tells you direction.
You do have
and
it?
Stuff like
I
that.
do not have it.
Oh, you do not. Okay, yeah, because that.
All right.
Darn.
There are
It's a
islands
future
ahead of you.
consideration based on what we're doing.
There are islands ahead of you that you absolutely can sort of cleave a little close to, but not too close to, so that you could flee over and anchor yourself off of the shallower coast and hope for the best. Dominique, earlier, before we got into this line of inquiry, you had something you wanted to do. I might have headed you off at the pass, but
Oh, I was just going to be up in the crow's nest, keeping an eye out, watching the storm, looking for any approaching severity, basically.
Gotcha.
And
I will let you
want to
know
note that I tie off when I'm up there.
Okay. There will be lightning coming later into the night. When that happens, you can make your decision if you want to stay. You said you didn't want to stay up there if it was lightning, which is probably a good call.
Yeah. I work in roofing. I'm not staying at the highest point during a storm.
Probably a good call.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you guys are with a 16 survival. You guys, unless there's something you want to do tonight, you guys make it through the night with no problems. The storm is not as severe as you were probably expecting. It was a thunderstorm, but the winds were a little bit weaker than
Ooh.
you might have otherwise expected. And with a 16 survival, you were able to, navigate the waters in the right way to avoid getting into too much trouble.
I will say the only other thing that I would have done that night, because I just got it and haven't had a
Mhm.
chance to use it yet, I would have finally broken out Liamon's tiny hut.
Ah,
So to give some like, and I would have actually put it um on the deck, like not below deck,
yeah.
so that because the it shields from the rain, it would be a really cool place to just kind of like be in there and be dry and like
Oh,
watch the rain happen overhead.
Yeah,
like over
So
the
like a
wheel.
bubble.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And
I
then so you
Yeah.
can kind of like there's enough
Yeah,
space for all of us in it, so we could have like crowded around and just kind of like had a nice dry space
that's
I
while
good.
we
Um,
sail.
I
I
feel
have a
like as
question. Oh,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Mine's just flavor. You go ahead.
I was gonna say, at school, we never became proficient with navigator's tools. That was never part of what
Everyone has
we.
a different focus. Like there's a little bit of general sailing knowledge that you've all picked up, but everyone had a different focus. So if you didn't
Okay,
pick navigator's tools as your
got it.
proficiencies, then you decided not that wasn't your focus at school.
Okay,
Oh,
got
then
it.
Uh,
that might have made me the navigator because I have proficiency.
then you
Okay.
would in
Oh,
fact be the navigator.
And it
Yes.
makes sense for all
thank you
the
for
other reasons.
volunteering.
Yeah, I have proficiency in water vehicles, so
Right, yeah, you're because you're driving. Um,
I can use thieves' tools.
what was your flavor question, Dominique?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like even though the tiny hut is available, as much as Dominique like
Hmm.
gripes and bitches about, being wet and all that stuff, she actually stays out in the rain constantly and just revels in constantly being soggy.
I I know this isn't how a tiny hut works, but as soon as you said you were going to work on your tiny hut, I just imagined casting it in the hold and then just ripping right out of the back of the ship.
and then it's like, all right, everybody with mending, come along, let's fix it.
Damn it, Destiqua!
That's not how it works,
Well,
but
now we know.
See, I picture it like now there's a glass bottom boat extension on the ship, but it's
That would be
it's
so
it's
cool.
only temporary, which is the problem. But
It's like a conservatory glass.
yeah,
Mhm.
like I see it as
Mhm.
like a bubble that you've now created so we can look down into the ocean and
Yeah.
also up into the sky.
Just
it
for the
doesn't.
record, I do
Yeah,
have mending. So if anything ever pops up,
So do I.
I can run and
it
help.
doesn't take you guys very long after. Well, I think it was we mentioned it was going to be about 2 or 3 days before you can find to get to the island that you needed to get to. Um, the storm is the worst of it. As the next day, it still rains the next day, but it starts to get less and less and less as the day continues on. And the weather check shows that it's not going to rain tomorrow. It's going to be cloudy the entire time, but it's not going to be raining. And you guys start to pull up on the Isle de la Rue.
I'm gonna take a long rest and redo some spells and get ready to
Oh
be on an
yeah.
island.
Yeah.
Long
Also,
rest.
definitely mark yourself for long rests in this time. Um,
I'm a little
As soon as
nervous
you were
about how
like you got through the
emphatically
night
you
without a
point.
problem, I'm like long rest and spells.
two things as you're
Actually,
approach.
before we, am I thinking of the right character? Give me 1 second. Yeah, before we take that long rest, I
Okay.
do want to cast something.
Okay.
Yes.
I know, right? I want to cast sending,
Okay.
and I want to send a message to Dominique's father.
Okay. Um, when you say Dominique's father,
Dominique's father.
Dominique's father.
I'm
Okay.
going to send two. One to Dominique's father, one to Manon's father.
Right.
To Dominique's father. Let's see. Greetings, mon père. I am so glad to hear you and what is my sister's name?
You're asking the wrong person for. I know I'm the DM. Hold on. Let me look up I've got
It's
it
on
here.
my other character sheet.
You know how I am with names. Hold on.
Yep. just as good as I.
Give me one
Oh,
second.
actually, it's fine. I don't. Well, yeah, no, I do need it.
Crap. Hold on. It's in the letter. That's where the
Yeah.
easiest place to find it.
I think it
Letters from
begins with an
home.
S.
Da-da-da.
I keep wanting to say Sabine, but I know that's
Esme.
Esme, that's it. So I'm so glad to hear you and Esme are safe. Take care of everyone. I will see you soon. Love. And that is my 25.
Are you all right? I'm gonna get his voice. Are you all right? You sound different. We are well, but now I am concerned for you.
Well, he's not getting a response because I only have one more, and that's going to somebody else.
Understandable. Yeah, you do sound different than the actual Dominique. Like,
Right.
You sound similar, but
Yeah.
especially a father would know that's
Yeah.
not my daughter's voice.
And I can play that off later,
Sure.
but for now, I just want him to. I know I sound enough like her because that has been the whole point of
Yep.
imitating her.
Almost
That,
no one else would probably be able to tell a difference, but
yeah,
her
but
dad's gonna know. Yeah.
her dad would probably notice. This is kind of yeah. Anyways, her thought in this is basically to start preparing him because she knows she's not going to be able to pull the wool over his eyes. And so her hope is that she can open that door and create a situation where he has a problem with what's going down too. So it's kind of twofold. She doesn't want to spring the fact that his daughter is dead on him by showing up.
Yeah.
And number two, she's kind of opening the door to establish a connection.
Understandable.
So, and the second sending is to her real father. Father, are you okay? I heard about the revolts. I'm very worried about you. Let me know. I'm at sea. Miss you terribly. Oh God, Little Green.
I'm well. I'm working in the palace still. I actually am staying in some of the servants' quarters here. Hold on. I'm well. I do not believe the revolts will be successful. And I apologize for, and that's the end of the thing.
Did understand how those spells work.
Or they do, and like the rest of us, they get lost
Yeah,
with the number of like.
Are you pooping?
I feel like sending the way we have to do sending is the way they do sending in real life because or in this game because.
Yeah. Okay, and that hearing her father's voice, she sort of relaxes a little bit and goes through the rest of the evening, and that is what I wanted to do.
All right. As you guys begin to approach the Isle of Dreams, there are so you guys are pretty far off when you spot this. There are 3 ships flying the flag of the Dwarven Mountain Homes.
Okay.
Which is actually it's like the picture of it's a mountain, and then in front of the mountain is a large bullet. And
Like emerging.
yeah, actually coming out of the mountain. Like there's a cave. Like you can't see that there's a cave, but it looks like he's coming out at you. And the ships appear to be engaged in combat with an invisible enemy of some kind. And these are three of the mithril sides, or the silver side ships that you guys have seen that are lined with mithril along the hull. They're wooden ships with mithril lining the lower hull. And they seem to be engaged in combat and losing horribly. And in fact, you start to see explosions below the waterline hitting these ships. And one by one, you guys kind of see it as you come around an island. I don't know if you guys maybe want to like turn back around and not like fully peek your heads out or not, but it's really far away.
Oh,
And
I'm all in favor of not getting noticeably close.
that's understandable.
I just have
You
this
get
mental image of our ship Scooby-Dooing around a rock.
And what ends up happening is all three of these ships are sunk over a period of about 15 minutes.
Jeez.
15 minutes, 3 ships go down against an invisible enemy.
Yeah.
Well, is it obvious that this fight has been happening for a while before we
It
get
looks like
there?
it's possible, yeah. Like there
Okay,
may have
so
been more dwarven ships before you got here.
so like
But it
15
took
minutes as
down
we
mithril
watch.
ships.
Yes.
Yeah, mithril line ships. And by the way, to be clear, this doesn't seem like whatever the invisible enemy is, it doesn't seem like it was just like an animal that was reaching up, or some giant megalodon-sized shark that was attacking. These were explosions, like cannon fire, but below the waterline.
I would like to go underwater
Okay,
and see.
sure. Your vision's not going to extend very far when you get underwater.
Sure, and I'll go a little closer, not like
Well, you guys
miles closer, but
Yeah, because you guys are miles away currently.
Yeah.
You'd like to just go underneath and see if there's anything around here?
yeah, just any sort of indication of what something that may have passed through, or if I can see any sort of.
Make a perception check.
Okay.
I can tell you that what you're actually asking about, like well, okay, I was going to say this. Regardless, what you're asking specifically of, is there any indications of anything around here that could have been what's destroying those ships right now? You do not see. There was no level of check that would have given you the answer to that.
Is there any underwater creature nearby?
Yeah. I mean,
It looks
other
like
than-
it's coming from that direction.
No, you just see some regular fish, sharks, nothing special.
I'd be looking for survivors.
I shouldn't say sharks. Sharks are actually pretty rare in the ocean, but fish and various sea creatures. Are there survivors?
Yeah.
Yes, floating in the water until they aren't.
Oh,
Do they get pulled underwater, or do they slowly drown?
I mean,
Or do
they
hopefully
don't?
not slowly drown, because I
They're
think as
nearly-
soon as Fairlow sees that there's
Yeah,
survivors.
They are. They're reasonably close to the coast, to the actual island, because they were wherever they were, whatever they were doing, they were anchored off the Isle of Dreams.
okay.
Okay, but you said until there aren't.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So under normal circumstances, you can, if you guys are really, really far away to kind of see the exact details of people in water, I would say, other than the fact that they're there for a while
Literally
and then
send an owl over to look if we really need that. So,
that's
I
fair.
mean, I can get us to a much closer vantage point.
Before your
if
owl would be able to
that's-
get there, those people do sink underneath the water is the point. Like
Okay.
Okay.
they're gone.
They don't
Like-
vanish, they sink.
Yeah. You can't see much of the details of exactly what's happening, but it's like one of those things where it's like you're looking, you maybe slightly look over here for a second, and you look back and you're like, wait, weren't they right there? No, they're not there now.
And considering whatever was attacking, go ahead.
So, when the ships sink, that usually will create a big
Hmm.
displacement of water.
The water, it
And
going
then,
into the
yeah,
water pulls stuff down. Yes.
is that what happens? Are there ripples?
That definitely happens, and you're pretty sure some people are pulled down and drowned that way, like you would guess from looking at it. But some people do manage to escape the ship in time. Like, but they do not, they're not on the water for very long before they disappear.
That's not exactly what I was asking. I was asking about
Okay,
the
I'm sorry.
ships themselves.
Oh, okay.
And what basically I'm trying to figure out if the thing is creating ripples and whatever pulled them down
Mm.
is creating displacement of the water. Is it creating ripples and waves um, for its
Make a
movement? Like,
perception
does it?
check.
Okay. Um,
And since you're using your owl to get an aerial view, make it with advantage.
okay. I actually didn't summon my owl because you said it
Oh,
wouldn't get there fast enough. So it didn't sound like it was worth doing. So I didn't
okay.
do
Well, then
that.
just make a straight roll then.
Okay. 22.
22. There are, hmm. You know what? With a 22, I'm gonna say, are you getting a high vantage point to look at this? Or I'm wondering if any of you guys go up to at least the crow's nest to kind of see if you can.
I mean, I would have
Um,
watched from up there originally and then gone down into the water when.
Right. But Rivulet,
Oh,
you're the one making the perception check here
yeah.
specifically. So are you doing this
yeah,
from the deck, or are you
I
doing it
mean,
from the crow's
I
nest?
think if Dominique was in the crow's nest, there's not a lot of room up there
I would have gotten
generally.
down because I went into the water. So
Yeah.
there'd be room up there by the time you're doing this.
Okay, yeah, I can go up high.
Then you from up there with a 22, you're going to be able to see um player information that you can then interpret through your character. A torpedo shaped thing under the water. But when I say shaped, I mean it's not the size of a torpedo. It is a large torpedo shaped vessel of some kind that is every once in a while comes up and then back down.
She is
And
from
you,
the area surrounding Brescia. Is that one of the submarines that they have?
Brescia, as far as you know, doesn't have submarines.
You mentioned something
They
previously
do.
about them.
I talked about it in some of the out of character information.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
They do not have submarines, as far as you know.
Sorry.
I thought,
I'm just trying to remember because I know I remember hearing something about
Yeah,
underwater.
I do
we talked
too.
about it on
vessels.
stream one night. That's why
Yeah,
I
yeah.
It may have been
brought
that.
it
Yeah,
up.
we
Yeah.
did. Yeah, it was I think it was a bonus action.
It
We
might
were
have been a
talking about
bonus
that
action.
thing.
Okay.
Might have been, yeah.
I
Um,
thought I asked about it. Um,
yeah, I did, and I told you specifically, and then later on, I corrected that. We talked. I may have talked about it in one of the pregame things. Is that the answer to your question previously, which was, do submarines exist in this world? The answer at the time was no,
oh
and
yeah.
then later I came back and said,
We did actually find out that they have an underwater ship. We did get that
I
info.
thought so, yeah.
okay. I
When we
came back
found out
later and said,
it was the night we got all the letters.
yeah. Oh, really? Okay. Well, I said
Yeah.
when I came back and said basically that that will not always be true, um, and that answer could change. But regardless, let's just say you
Okay.
guys have the conceptions
So,
of what
okay.
an underwater ship is, and you can identify this as a submarine.
Okay.
History.
Yep. Because they definitely existed way back when. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a completely alien concept.
Well, I mean, there has to be a way for people to get down to and up from subaquatic cities besides
Used
swimming,
to be
right?
animals. Yeah, they used to be dragged around by animals specifically. Certain big
Did,
tortoises and other
were
things.
people who live on land ever able to go down, though?
Depends.
Like that would
Sometimes.
be okay.
Like Brescia is the source of all of the subaquatic peoples, and originally they were a floating city that sank.
Right.
Right.
That had a shield, and then over time developed certain genetic engineering things that created the fish people that could go out into the water and live outside of the city itself with the shield. Brescia did fall technologically and societally eventually, but they did preserve some of the old Kasari technologies that were available. So they were a little bit more advanced always than most of the other. They were just very isolationist
Yeah.
to the rest of the world.
The fact that whatever was attacking actually, I'll say this out loud. The fact that whatever's attacking these three ships didn't just destroy the ships, but went out of their way to, at the very least, nab, if not kill, every single survivor, says something about whatever it is that's in the water.
Mm-hmm.
They are not looking to dissuade, they are looking to destroy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No survivors.
Rivulet, with your 22, when you spot this submarine, it looks like it is actually heading away from the island.
Like
Okay.
towards us? Away from the
No.
island? Okay.
In a third direction away from you and the island.
A secret third direction.
A secret third direction
Yeah.
that exists.
There
Perpendicular
is
to the
to,
others.
fro, and elsewhere.
No, Fro's over there. He's doing the.
Rivulet, do you tell us about the movement?
Yes. Yes.
Is it heading east or west?
Currently west.
West.
What
guys
lies
are-
west of here?
Brescia. Well, southwest of here. You guys are actually coming up from the south specifically.
Yeah. Okay.
Is the place that this attack happened really the only and/or best place to drop anchor and get to the island? Like, is there another way to the island that makes sense?
Looking at the maps you were provided, it seems like that was probably the best place to anchor.
Mm.
But there are certainly other places you could anchor along the island's coast if you wanted to. And in fact, while you guys are currently miles away, there are a couple of closer islands. One, in fact, is only about a mile and a half to the east that you
Captain?
could possibly anchor at and maybe take a little rowboat over if that's what you were thinking of.
Captain, I would suggest we port elsewhere and travel closer in a smaller ship so
Well-
that it is not as obvious.
I think that is a good idea, but let me offer a different one. The thing that just attacked them is leaving. So, assumably, at this moment, we know that port, so to speak, is relatively safe. And also,
But how did they know those ships were there in the first place?
well, that's the other reason I was going to suggest we do actually go to this spot. We would have a chance to examine whatever is left over and maybe get some answers.
this is why you are the captain.
I'm not saying it won't be dangerous, but at the very least, we know that whatever Rivulet just saw has left.
And the other thing is we know it exists.
Exactly.
We won't be taken by as much surprise as these fine Silverside ships.
Can I offer a bit of a suggestion myself?
Always.
That? Which
Fro.
crew
It's
member
Fro.
is that?
It's Fro.
Oh, it's Fro. Okay. Of course, Fro. What do you think?
You have a secondary crew. You don't have to anchor.
Oh.
Well, and I was actually
But
going to
if
say,
we find survivors,
I mean, we can stop momentarily, but if you want to get on the island and do work, we could sail off and come back when you're ready. And he holds up the stone that you have the other half of, Furlos.
I was actually not only going to suggest that, I was going to at the very least say don't anchor in case you need to flee.
And
We could
I-
just sail away and hide behind another island.
I have reservations about bringing survivors onto our ship specifically, knowing what we know about the goals of the mountain home dwarves. I'm okay with
should not be trusted.
I'm okay with saving them, bringing them to land on the island, but I don't know if I want them on our ship in case of sudden it's not mutiny because they're not our crew, but what's the other one? where they try to take it over.
Hijack.
Yeah.
That one.
Look at me.
There's
I'm the
another
captain
term
now.
for it, and it's nautical. I can't remember what it is. No, I am realizing more and more I am the pretty face on the ship, and I defer to the wisdom of our captain.
I agree with Essequa that we want to be careful about bringing survivors onto our ship. That being said, I do not want to leave any survivors who are out there just to keep swimming. And we already know the truth of our cover story is we are all students at the academy doing one of our usual trips, and we just happen to come by if anyone asks.
All right. Quick question. Out of the four of us, I would assume I am the most capable of facilitating stories that have been loosely based in fact, but vary from that. How do you all feel about your poker faces?
Fanciest way to say lying that I've heard in a while.
I don't lie, I just look very stern and don't answer.
Right.
I believe that there are many, many sides to a truth, so I feel fairly confident.
Excellent.
I'll just talk your ear off until you're tired of hearing what I have to say.
All right. Fellas, we love and respect you. If it comes time to bullshit, maybe turn around.
And I will scowl hardcore at you.
So you think Fairless has the best poker face among us?
Well, that's the thing. I'm going to scowl hardcore and look super angry for a good 5 seconds. And then still with that face on, I'll wink.
That's my wonderful captain. All right.
So what's the plan shipwise?
I think we head to that place where the where the ships were, where the wreckage is, and the four of us get off and basically take stock of what we can see, but land on the island while the rest of the crew do what Fro said and basically go hide or be at the very least mobile enough that they could leave if they need to.
I'll tell you to rapidly get through some of this bits here. There are no survivors as you approach, at least none that you can see floating in the water. So your plan goes off without a hitch. He drops you off.
No bodies, even.
No bodies.
And
nobody.
I'm going to preface this by saying I and Fro do not want to recommend anyone go scuba diving for wreckage.
Oh, I was going to say that
some
when we're going over there, I am in
the
water holding the underside of the boat, watching from below.
And that's fine, and I think we all should be looking, the whole crew should be on alert and also looking to see what we can see, but I don't want anybody or anybody's going down to go search the underwater wreckage.
Right, right.
So yes.
If there's no objections, I would like to just make that a standard thing when we're going in a smaller boat. I just ride along the underside and basically hold on to the underside of the boat and watch from below.
With your swim speed, you can even assist in moving the rowboat.
Yeah, I could.
But yes.
All right. So two things, because we're about to go on break. Mm-hmm. One, no bodies in the water. There is one dwarven body on the beach that has washed up.
Okay.
Outstanding.
There is also plenty of wreckage on the beach that has already started to wash up. And we'll just say you guys are on the beach now.
Cool.
If you're all right when we come back. And we'll take our break. And let's say 15 till is when we'll come back.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. We'll be right back.
Be right back.
Mar.
Ahoy hoy and welcome back.
Huh?
This is Players in Book.
Now I need to know what did it say on the captions.
Maher, like Bill Maher.
Players? Book.
Yay.
Let's go through the credits real quick so you guys can interrogate a dead dwarf. Cartography by Shay and Peku. Cartography by Shay and Peku Sci-Fi. Maps by Luke Stratton, maps by Eightfold Paper, music by Tabletop Audio, character tokens by Greek46, custom tokens by Shan Peku Tokens, overlays by Brian Podell of Exploding Dice, and a custom world map by Freckles Sketches. And the moderators are Billith and Strike Red Kite, and a little bit of Dominique. Thank you very much. All right. You guys arrive on the beach. Let's move you to the map.
On the beach.
There is a large fallen tree
No, I don't.
that looks like it's still growing despite being fallen over
Life
on the
finds a
beach
way.
that you guys land on.
Nope, that's too small. There we go.
Oh,
And
Got
a
one of those in the neighborhood.
that's huge.
Yes. When I say large, I mean it.
It's like half the island size.
There we go. And I'm assuming we are rowboating.
Rowboating up to the dwarf that is laying on the beach.
Rowboating is where we are refuting the facts of the big boat.
How dare this big boat?
How very dare.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to make sure that not only can I see it, but the chat can see the map.
Thank you.
So if you see me doing a lot of this, that's what's going on. Is I'm comparing me to what the chat can see.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Don't compare yourself to anyone, Lauren.
That's too late. I'm a performer. That's what I do.
I'm making poll questions.
We all have
Too real.
we all have a deep, dark hole inside ourselves that need to be filled with the approval of others.
Before
Too
stop
real.
calling me out, everybody. Before we actually start doing Speak with Dead, Fairlos would insist that we take at least a brief look around for what else is in the immediate area, if there's any threats in the immediate area, and then pull the body away from the waves a little bit.
Yeah. I will tell you, currently washing up on shore, and continuously more is washing up on shore as you go, are parts of the ships that sank. But more importantly, some of those ships are still clad in mithril.
I am going to
purely-
start gathering scraps that have mithril on them and compiling them into one spot.
Purely educational perspective, Essiquil will help.
I would like to go ahead and let me just make sure it's worth it, but I think I would like to cast Pass Without Trace. Is that gonna last long enough for it to
It's
be
a-
I think
worthwhile?
it's 10 minutes.
It's an hour. It lasts an hour. So I am going to grab out of I will go ahead and grab some ashes from burned mistletoe and rub them in my fingers as I radiate an aura around me. A splishy splashy aura. And a ring of water sort of settles down on the ground and then centers on everyone's feet. Almost forming like a gel cushion under their steps. So everyone can go ahead and add +10 to your stealth checks, and you leave no tracks.
Also, Snonky shows up and just goes,
And
Just
on the
very
beach-
briefly, out of that ring of water, there's a snunk who sort of peeks out and goes, shh, and ducks back into the water.
I'll say it's probably best if you do that before you make it to the actual dry parts of the beach, so that you leave no footprints at all.
Mhm.
You don't have to worry about.
You
Okay.
can do it on the rowboat. That's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, you can also do it when you're still standing in the water, because you're not gonna be able to fully get off. You're probably gonna be a little bit in water anyway. But regardless, you're leaving no footsteps on this beach, which means if somebody comes by after, they're not going to know that you were here, unless you leave some other.
I mean, the rowboat will be
deliberate.
there, but at the very least, specifics about us will be hidden. So.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go. Let's resolve these things in order. We'll
Okay.
start with the collection of the mithril. Which I assume you guys are going to try and collect as much as possible. So one of you, I'd say, let's make an investigation. I think that's fair. One of you make an investigation check with advantage.
feel like you're probably
I'm-
better at investigation than I am, Essequa.
Yes, I would be happy to.
Yeah, I will assist you. Take that advantage.
Woo!
I can give you some guidance as well.
That's fine.
Awesome.
Guidance isn't concentration, is it?
No,
It's a cantrip.
I'm
Instant.
tracking the concentration.
Cantrips can also be concentration, but yes.
Yeah, but
gotcha.
it's instant.
Okay. Da 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 da. And I'm gonna roll 20 is gonna do this
actually-
poorly.
Is it?
What's
If
up?
you would like, okay, yeah, no, go ahead.
You sure?
I may be even stronger in this department.
If you want to go and help them, that's cool too. If you guys want to compare your bonuses, just say them out loud.
I'm a +6.
I'm a
on this.
+4, so
I'm
and
also a
guidance
+4.
is concentration. Even as a
Wait, it
cantrip,
is?
it is yes, it is
I had a
concentration.
feeling that wasn't for a
Did
gotcha, by
that
the way. You could just
change?
choose not to
Oh
do
yeah,
it.
it is. Oh my gosh,
Oh yeah,
Wow.
because you
my
can,
mistake.
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think
Because
about
it lasts for a little while, and
It lasts for a minute.
I'm with Jen. I
It didn't
genuinely
used
did
to
not
be,
realize
right?
that.
It didn't used to be
I always
concentration.
thought
It's
it
always
was.
been.
it is
Was
because
it?
it's the
Okay.
kind of thing in where you can cast guidance on. That's why in
That's
Baldur's
wild.
Gate, when you get guidance cast on you, you have it for
Yeah.
like several checks because it's something that
Yeah.
they just let you have it for several checks.
Oh,
But yeah,
That's-
You know, it
so
should be
if
My
you
like
just
that
brain
normally.
is
if you just wanna
tired
hold
and
off.
not
It's okay.
working. That was my mistake.
no, it's fine.
okay.
It wasn't.
So no
I wasn't
guidance.
saying it. Yeah.
No guidance for anybody. I'm gonna keep my guidance all myself.
I'm just gonna say, in the realm of the ginger, it is not concentration. Thank you very much.
Okay, fair enough. But in the
We
meantime,
just glow in the dark so people can just follow us. We provide our
Rib-
guidance because we're just
We are
iridescent
luminous.
and bounce UV layers as we
Rivulet,
scorch.
make an investigation check with advantage,
Yeah.
Okay.
as Dominique and Esquire are helping you.
Thanks, friends.
Welcome, friend.
Oh,
Ooh.
25.
Ooh. You guys managed to collect up. Now, to be fair, this cladding is not particularly thick,
Mhm.
but it is mithril, so it
Yeah.
doesn't really have to be particularly thick. And you guys managed to collect up, I want to say, 12 pounds of mithril.
I'm gonna put it
That's
on my
cool.
inventory if no one objects, just so we have it tracked.
Sure.
Now that we've got that resolved, unless you guys want to RP out the collection or talk a little bit about anything.
No, it's
Okay.
ship property. We're fine.
Cool. Then furloughs.
Yeah.
As everybody, so you've like kind of taken stock of the area you're in. As everybody kind of reconvenes around you, there is a dead dwarf on the beach that you've pulled up a little bit further out of the water, so he's not washed away later.
Yeah. And as long as everything seems to be at least quiet on the beach, no imminent threats.
Doesn't seem like it.
She'll have dragged the body up the beach a little bit, kind of laid it out haphazardly, like just kind of made sure it's rolled over on their back. So
Is he cute?
he's dead.
Significantly less cute.
Yes.
I'm using the generic dwarven token I have available, which is just this guy. So you get to decide, I guess, whether or not you think he's cute.
Oh, I love his hair. It's so fiery.
And I'm just gonna ask. When we arrived on the beach, this was a deceased person who had been deceased for more than a minute.
Yes, and
Okay.
in fact, he doesn't appear to have drowned. This is very easy for you to see because he has a big gaping chest wound.
Ooh.
That's exciting. Yeah, she'll plunk her hammer down, kind of, if his head is here, she'll put the hammer down, head next to his head, and be holding on to the haft and go,
Before you cast, I need to
Uh-oh.
ask DM a question. Are his clothes wet?
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure he washed to shore and he
He
wasn't
did
killed
wash to
on
shore,
shore.
He did see. It does seem like he washed ashore,
Okay,
but
cool.
it seems
Thank
like he might have died before the ship sank, possibly.
Okay. That answers what I need. Thank you.
and actually just before she starts to cast, because it's a 10-minute casting, she will look at the three of you and go, right, well, you remember last time. Take a little bit of time and come up with some questions that I can ask. At least the first couple. And I'll do this again. I never thought I'd do this at all. Now I've had to do this twice in a couple days, and I still find it weird. And she'll hold on to the haft of the hammer and start to cast.
I have to say, being able to speak with people who have died is quite an amazing skill.
Yes, but it's also creepy.
Sure, but you're able to bring someone's last thoughts, their will, their breaths into the world once more. It is an incredible honor.
You say that, and what I picture is Feralus has actually had her eyes closed and she's concentrating on the spell, even though she's responding to you. And you say that, and you watch as she gets a little stiff and opens her eyes and looks at you, and her eyes are glowing just a little bit with the color of lightning, not actual crackling anything, but just like glowing a little bit. She looks at you and goes, "Well, most of the time, I'm the reason they're dead."
And I just give you a shit-eating grin back.
And I just close my eyes again.
All right, so what are we going to ask this person? Obviously, I'm assuming we're going to say, do we want to say how did you die? Because it's such a general question.
What attacked you? Who attacked you?
Well, we know it was a submarine. Who attacked you? Did they, were there any indications of who attacked you?
But we want to stay away from yes and no questions we learned the last time. So, what sort?
Indications were there?
What did the person or people look like who attacked you, or what was? Can you describe the? Would you just describe the
nature of you? What about if we ask, were there? No. What indications are there of who attacked you? That way, we're not asking a question that would be answered by, "Oh, well, a submarine attacked me," or whatever we're going to use as a word for submarine, since we don't know that word.
No, you know the word for submarine.
Okay.
At the very least, we say underwater ship.
Right.
That could also, yeah, it's pretty easy to work with.
So, how do we want to phrase that? Can you?
Not can you?
Well,
Right.
one of the questions is why were they here? Right?
Why were you? Oh, that's good. That's
a good one to start off with.
Mm-hmm.
Why is anybody here?
That's a very
No, stop.
Well, that's a really interesting
crisis on my agenda. I went German there. I apologize.
So yeah, I think why were you here is a good first question.
Yeah. And one thing I mentioned this last time around, sometimes you just really need to nail in your first question, because then context from that question generates the answer to that question generates other questions.
Sure.
So trying to come up with more than one can oftentimes just be sort of a exercise in futility.
I 100% agree. I'm going to say,
why were you here?
I am going to say, so why were you here? And then also come up with can you describe, not can you, but like describe your death question. I think those are the two that we nail in ahead of time, just in case the why were you here doesn't include why they died.
What about describe the battle? So it's not just focused on exactly what happened to that unique individual as they died.
It has to be a question.
I was literally about to say,
I'm
going to Alex Trebek you. I don't know who that is, but somewhere in the spell, his name pops into my mind whenever I'm casting this spell, and apparently I need you to make that statement in the form of a question.
How would you describe the events surrounding your death?
Chaotic.
Now, yeah, because I'm gonna say
we
have so little experience with this, but our history with that particular type of question leads to a one-word answer that doesn't really give us anything.
Okay.
But
this is my first. I'm so sorry.
Okay, you were really distracted last time. I thought you would have found it super interesting, but you were really, really distracted.
There was
It's okay.
I'll tell you about it later.
It's okay.
About right now, I think your spell starts to finish the casting.
All right, well, all of you keep thinking about this, and I'll open my eyes again to look down at the body, expecting to at least see some movement or something indicating that this has worked.
Takes a deep breath and looks over in your direction.
Why were you here?
To protect the advertisements' access to the dreams.
I'm going to look at everybody else, and Goblin, for your sake, Fairlos is the only one that can ask the questions to the corpse that will get an answer, and
Okay.
it has to be a very intentionally asked question. So I'm going to be able to look at the three of you and go, if they're protecting whatever this is, my next question would be protecting.
What was the answer again? I'm sorry.
To protect
the advertisement's access to the dreams.
So my next question would be protect from what, but I don't know if that leads us down a different path than we want to go.
I have a suggestion, and this is kind of general and would get us an overview of exactly what happened. If you were to tell the story of the battle in which you died, what would you say?
That's a good one.
That has big two doors. One tells the truth, one lies energy.
Yeah.
If would you questions are probably some of the best ways to get as much context into the question as possible.
Mm-hmm. I want to, if it's okay, I kind of want to chase this thread for at least one more question.
Advertisement?
Well, you remember when we were sleeping and we heard in our dreams advertisements for stuff from the mountain homes that we had no idea about.
Right.
So there's something,
the advertisement.
there's something here that could stop them from advertising via dreams.
Maybe the transmitter or something similar.
How does this place affect the advertisements?
I like it. Yeah, and then if we, I mean, it's not what we're here for, but that's enough information for us to start making a hypothesis about why they were here and whether or not they may send other people.
Would you think, how is this place connected to the advertisements?
I mean, it's a similar question, but I think how does it affect is going to give us a more broad answer versus how is it connected, because how is it connected could be mentally, metaphysically, whereas how does this place affect? Well, it does blah blah blah, if that makes sense. It's a one-word answer versus an explanation.
Yeah, I like how does it affect the advertisements?
How does this place affect the advertisements? Dominique, to your answer, and DM, I am take this all with a grain of salt. You're gonna watch as she's gonna roll her eyes, and Fearless is gonna say, "Well, you know, it's as if we ask the wrong questions, and they just want to give us one-word answers anyway. I don't understand why they don't want to talk to us. I mean, but that's apparently the way it works.
They're assholes.
Well, I'm not talking about this specific. I'm talking about, I was warned this when I was learning about this spell, that's just the way the corpses are, that if they can answer with one word, even, you know, they can lie too. Did you know that?
I did. My darling captain, nobody wants to give the full unadulterated truth. Everybody has something to hide. Living or dead.
Yeah, but once you're dead, don't you want to actually tell people what happened?
No, sometimes it is even more important to protect the secrets you held in life when you are dead.
Well, if that happens, the corpse is under no compulsion to answer any of these questions, so I guess we'll at
you know
one
what would
point...
be smart would be if one of us knew Zone of Truth, so we could cast that and then cast Speak with Dead.
Unfortunately, I was thinking about that too, to bring along in case we found someone here. That only affects creatures, and this is an object.
That is unfortunate.
I had a whole class about what is a creature and what is an object because. Anyway, back to the question.
Right? Yes, we.
How does how does this place affect the advertisements? Okay, I will look at the dwarf. How does this place affect the advertisements?
We use our access to the Temple of Dreams and the books contained within to access the dreaming state.
And the books.
This is their signal tower.
Sounds about right.
So, wait a minute. Not involved in speaking to him, but does that mean that whoever controls this island is able to access the dreams of any sleeping people on the planet?
If they know how to.
And I glance at Rivulet.
It's possible. Yes.
Have you ever felt before that someone was manufacturing with your nocturnal adventures?
Just the one time, as far as I know.
So much has involved dreaming since that moment. Sorry, I am looking at the big picture instead of the moment. I apologize.
No, it's given me a moment to mull over.
I still think if you were to tell the story of the battle in which you died, what would you say? Because that will give us an idea into what they were doing here, what was happening when the battle started, what he saw during the fight.
I'm agreeing with you, but we know what they were doing here at the very least. I'm
curious.
But
it gives us the most broad source of information from which to refine our last two questions.
Agreed. And hopefully it'll also include... Were they here to protect it from known or unknown enemies, basically? Like, that's my question. Not my question to you. That's what I'm curious about is if they were protecting it from Brescia and then all of a sudden thing under the water that had nothing to do with Brescia, you know, was their attack... Were they protecting from the thing that attacked them, or were they protecting from something else? And then this came out of nowhere. So,
what was the perceived threat to your access?
That might be.
I would keep it general before we narrow down. We have 3 questions remaining. I would ask a question that will give us a broad spectrum of information, and then narrow down for the final 2. But if we go too narrow before, then we are restricting how much information we can get from the last 2.
I agree with both of you.
May I ask a question outside of the Speak with Dead?
Yeah.
We didn't ask any questions about what this dwarf looks like, what they're wearing, like if there's anything in their uniform that's relevant to what we're talking about. Like, search their pockets. Like, did we get anything?
What's their rank?
Yeah, that's all relevant.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna search him.
So, did we get anything from that?
Only that there's a big hole in his chest. So far.
Yeah, no one went to search him. If someone used Dominique, did you say you wanted to do a check?
Yeah, if Jen doesn't mind, I'll go ahead and start rifling through all his shit, because I figure that's a very Dominique thing to do.
Do an investigation check.
Okay.
I was thinking exactly that thing, because like, what
Those
might
things
this
can
fellow
give us
know?
clues about how much information, you would have access to. What?
This is a crewman.
Okay.
Lowest rank on the ship.
Okay.
Just a basic crewman.
Right.
You find a total of 3 silver, um, and a half-eaten piece of hardtack,
Okay.
and that's about it.
Oh, Mara would be so excited. Okay. Um, any tattoos?
I was gonna say from his the reason why you know he's a crewman is because you could tell from his uniform that it has the rankings and he's got the smallest little pip on the side
Mm-hmm.
possible.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And just from it's like a pretty basic bit of knowledge that you guys have picked up from school, like the various military ranks of it's something that you picked up. And with a 19, you did intimidation. I just
Oh,
realized you did
I'm so
intimidation
sorry.
instead of
Ignore
investigation.
that.
What's the bonus to
It's
investigation instead?
-1. It's
Oh,
it's the same
okay.
thing.
Well, no, because I
That's
I remember I used the original roll. We just changed the bonus.
yes, yeah. So it's an 18
So
instead of an 18.
That
no,
changes
because
everything.
you rolled a 14
Oh.
plus 5.
Yeah, but then I rolled a 15 plus 4.
Yes, but we're
So I
the
have a
way
I
the
have a
way.
+5 for intimidation and a +4 for investigation.
Oh, okay. When you said -1, I thought
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that makes way more sense. Okay,
That's what
got
I
it.
thought as well. Yeah.
Okay, we're cool. We're cool.
Yeah.
You're basically the same checks here. It's no problems. What was the exact question you were asking
Uh,
before we got into
there
the
was a
talks
question
about the
about
rolls?
tattoos. There was a
Tattoos. I was
question
asking
about.
Right.
about tattoos.
He is not tattooed at all.
Okay. I'm gonna keep his uniform. Oh wait, no, there's a big hole in the middle of it. Never
Mhm.
mind.
Actually, I'd say with an 18 investigation, you can recall back to your knowledge about the dwarven military. They're not
Yeah.
allowed to be tattooed.
Hmm.
Okay. So if somebody has a tattoo before signing up with the military, they're not able to?
They get rid of it.
Oh, okay.
They actually have a couple of high level well, again, this is information you would have picked up. They have a couple of high level magic users. It's not a pleasant process.
Right.
They cut the flesh off and then use the regeneration spell to regrow it, the
Ouch.
flesh back into normal flesh.
But just
Pete Davidson would
prestidigitate
hate
that. Like
life.
it feels like that's so
Or
punitive.
or actually healing it would probably just because when you tattoo someone, you're injecting ink into a place it's not supposed to go, and so
Yeah.
heal. You know what? I have never been tattooed for obvious reasons, so
I
what do
feel
I
like
know?
greater restoration should expunge the ink from the form, but
Um,
that's just me.
I think there's probably a whole wide range of ways to do this, and it wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprising to me if the
This feels
military punitively does that.
that's
to
what it
make
seems
a
like. It seems
point.
like this is a punishment for
Yeah.
something because I'm guessing, and this is pure speculation, but from the sense of the world that I have, there's that creates I don't know if it's tribalism within the military or that it's they want to I mean it's literally stripping people of identity and this is a we know that this is
We are
a group
one.
that is willing to go into people's dreams, so maybe not so much with the ethical.
Yeah.
Seems like the removing anything that is
No,
personally
no one here
expressive
has
and
tattoos, do they?
identifying. Like in
In-game?
real life
Yes.
or
No, no, no. In
characters?
in their
Yes.
character, you do as a character.
Yeah.
Okay, then you would know that there are many options for ink. The most common used options are resistant to magical removal because
Oh,
obviously magic exists in this world and it's very easy to use it on people. And
sure.
it would really, really suck if your awesome back tattoo got removed by somebody
Yeah.
who just decided to cast a spell on you.
Some dick at a bar that didn't like you hitting
Yeah.
on a woman. Yeah. All right. So he's not going to have a lot of in-depth information. We are best sticking with questions that the rank and file would know. I stand by my suggestion.
Well, I think they're both good suggestions. I think the order probably makes the most sense of if you were to tell the story, blah 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 blah, and
One other
then
question before we get to back to the questions. Are his hands callous? Like, does this look like a working
Yes.
like fieldwork type stuff or Like what kind of calluses
Like
are
he
we?
works with like he right around here, like he works with
Mhm.
ropes a lot.
Okay, so nautical calluses.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we have it, by the way, and it is possible, and we don't need more information, perhaps our final question could be who he is.
Or at the very least, is there someone you would like to send a message to? But let's get information for the living before we help out the dead.
Exactly.
So, so what I was gonna say is, if you tell the story of the battle, get that, and then Essequa's suggestion of what was the perceived threat to your access may get answered in the first question, but that's a good question a good way to ask that question if it's not.
If it doesn't get answered, we'll ask that one.
Yeah. All right, so I'll look down at the dwarf after we've been chatting for a minute or so. If you were to tell the story of the battle in which you died, what would you say?
I was playing cards below decks when an explosion happened and a piece of the ship passed through me. And that's all I remember.
Would he have gotten from below decks to the shore with a piece of ship having flown through him?
As a dead body, yes.
That is... Something is not right.
In what way?
There is no way that a person who was killed by being impaled in the hull of a ship would have been the only body to reach this shore without some sort of assistance. He is here for a reason.
Or we do know that whatever was attacking them was going after survivors. Maybe that's why this body...
But how would his body not have sank in the ship? He couldn't get
How
to the deck.
big is the hole in him?
It's about that big.
Okay, still buoyant then, so it's not a giant hole that would allow him to
Right.
sink.
But he would have been trapped in the hull.
Not if
Also-
the hull exploded.
Not
Yeah,
if it blew
no.
out.
Yeah.
Also, they can break in two when they sink as well from the weight. It's a whole thing. But
Okay.
for the wound that you're talking about, also, despite the fact that it does appear, if you look, that there is an exit wound on the back, it's not like you can see through it either.
What?
He's not a
I was under
donut.
the impression that the ship sank. Did they blow apart?
Some of them
We
did.
saw explosions.
Yeah.
Right, but with ships, they're so large. If you see an explosion, it is typically, unless it hits like a powder area.
Yeah, I'm telling you, some of
something.
them. I'm telling you specifically, some of them exploded.
Okay.
Like the ships
So I think-
exploded.
Just for
That's what I
clarity,
mean.
Sim, you're telling us this is a plausible story, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The-
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you, Jen. That was a really good way to ask.
You're
Yeah, because I'm willing to
welcome.
answer
I
questions
just felt like
above
we were
board,
starting
so-
to go in circles, and it
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
I think
We're
that
going-
was
that
where
was
we
that
were
was the perfect
trying
way to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah.
Never forget that I'm willing to answer your questions above table. Just ask what you need to know.
Especially if we're
It's
about
always
to bang
really
our
nice
heads.
when you have a DM who will do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
otherwise you end up in those circles for hours. And
Yep. It's just a chair. It's just a Sorry.
It's a
Are
door.
you sure
Try
it
the
doesn't have
handle.
teeth? Like, is the grain of the wood really going? Like, would it really go in that direction? Are you
There's some
sure?
level where I don't want to like always step in and correct you when you've got a misconception. But if you're
Yeah.
going to ask me directly, I will tell you.
Okay.
Especially if it's something like that, and where chances are it's
Nuance.
not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we could end up going down such.
Let's
a
not red
long
herring
path.
too much. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got 2 questions left. Do we want to do at this point?
I think we should ask Essequas.
Yeah. I guess I'm not gonna. I don't know. How do we feel about excluding the word perceived? Because something that is, he was a crewman. He's not going to have the same level of this is an emergency that the people like the captain is going to have, for example.
If he was under deck and he died at the outset of the battle, he's not going to know of any threat, because if he was playing cards, there was no perceived threat. No one would be playing cards if there was an active threat.
But our first question, the answer to why were you here, is to protect the advertisement's access.
So he knew.
So he knew that
Right.
they were
Okay.
protecting. So even if it was, we
What is
don't
the
we don't
threat you were
anticipate
protecting
anyone
from?
attacking, we're still going to go protect against in case insert
This was
thing.
guard duty.
I
Yeah.
forgot
Right.
the nuance of the question that was asked. I apologize.
That's okay. You know, I'm standing right here, and for whatever reason, when I am involved in this spell, I'm very I have a very clear, like, I've almost written down exactly what we've been asking and what has been the answer.
Weird how that works.
Mhm. So yeah, what was the threat to the advertisements
What was
is
the
the question that I think we should ask.
What was the threat to the
What was the threat you were trying to?
or just what was the threat to the advertisements, or what was the threat to the access?
What was the
To the
threat
access, thank you.
What was the threat to the advertisements that you were responding to?
I wouldn't say responding to, because they might not have been specifically responding to anybody. It might be a
What was the threat that you were defending against?
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, we could just say what was the threat to the access? Like, what were you here for?
Yeah.
What was the threat to the access? What was going to stop you from being able
Yeah.
to continue to do these advertisements?
Yeah.
So,
I like that. Yes.
I'll look
what
down.
was the threat to the access?
I'll look down at the body. What was the threat to the access?
I don't know. The Corpos asked us to come out here and guard the island just in case.
Ah.
And this is let's see now. Fairlos comes this close to saying just in case what, but I think she realizes that the just in case is supposed to be like there's war just in case. So.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone talk about what was the crew saying about the potential threat? Because crews gossip.
No, I have a potential final question that might help us.
Okay.
Have they been here before? Like, I know we're avoiding yes or no questions, but
Sometimes they're
something.
useful. Yeah.
Sometimes they're useful, but to the effect of, or is this the first time that you've been here? Basically, what Esoko wants to know.
Was this a new threat?
It's not about the threat. It's about the fact that not a lot of people know about this island.
But the problem
Yeah.
is, if you ask it that way, then if he has not personally been here, he will just say no.
Right. So I would love the help in figuring out a way to ask this to this person
okay. I
to
see what you're
determine
saying.
whether or not the dwarves in general
Yeah.
have been here before.
Have the Porthley Balin had to protect this access previously?
How have the Dwarven Mountain Homes naval forces been deployed here before?
No, they obviously have, because they have control of this. Have they had to protect against this threat specifically previously?
Is that, Latia, what you're asking, or is that?
That's not what
You're trying to get at the actual
I'm just trying to get
fleet
at
being.
Yeah, is this the first time that they've had to come here? Is this the second or third time? Because I know that we are students. We're not going to know who all knows about this, but what we do know is that not a lot of people know about this place. So is it logical to assume that the dwarves know about this? Yes, because they are a little territorial, you know?
Well, if this is how they run advertisements to the dreams, then the dwarves have been here. We know that.
The advertisements are new.
How often do you have to protect this, or is this a different threat than what you're normally dealing with? Or, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, Jen just brought up a good point. The advertisements, as far as we know, are new because we've all been alive for a couple decades. This is the first time that we've been advertised to in our dreams.
Is it?
So I think yeah, it is. How
I
long
did not
have
get that note. Okay.
how long has the fleet been deploying forces to this location?
That's good. Yeah.
That's a better angle because
That's a really good angle.
yes,
Yeah.
the first time we all got advertisements in our dreams was like a week and a half ago, but it's
Okay.
fairly. It would be a safe assumption to say they've been here doing stuff for a while, and then,
It'll give us an idea of how long they've known about it,
Yeah.
and also how long they've had the sense that they have to defend.
I like that. I like that approach a lot.
Okay, so how long has the Dwarven Mountain Homes
The fleet been deploying forces to this location?
And I acknowledge this is a question that this particular dwarf may not know. But if he doesn't know, then we know he doesn't know.
Yeah.
That's one of those things though that, again, servicemen gossip. So
And you sort of know how long
Yeah.
they've been deploying people to a location
Yeah.
generally, unless it's
unless it's like super.
I mean, if you're being sent to a top secret location, you will have cleared a certain level of intelligence, so you're
Yeah.
likely to be able to get that information. Otherwise, the
I mean, even if
information
you're
will
being
be at a
deployed
level
to
that
top
it's
secret
not.
base, typically, yeah.
You'll either have the level of clearance to have that information, or you won't need the level of clearance to have the information.
Yeah.
And I mean, he knew what was going on here at the island, so at the very least, whether
he's
not
at least getting some good info.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Last one. Fearless is actually just going to stretch a little bit and then grab the haft of the hammer and go, okay, here we go. Last one. How long has the How long has the fleet been deployed to this location? Sorry, the person controlling my body had a very hard time saying that word in this accent.
Can I just clarify the wording on that?
Yeah, because I stumbled.
How long has the fleet been deploying forces to this location?
Yeah. How long has the fleet been deploying to this location?
Fair enough. I don't know. I've been here for 4 months.
Oh. What happened 4 months ago?
We are at 5 questions.
We're out of questions.
At this point,
No, I'm asking in game, like
in
all
the
of
world.
Oh, okay.
What happened 4 months ago?
4 months ago, the world was still pretty well embroiled in the Castaween War, which didn't last very long, but that was about the time where it looked like the Castaween elves were definitely going to lose that war.
And it shifted.
Something like that. Like there's always been so the first war with the Castaween was like a curb stomp in the other direction. So in the intervening years after the peace treaty, everybody was really worried. Everybody was really, really united. That's about the time that the Castaween were getting curb stomped in the opposite direction this time. And it seemed like the whole let's stay unified for the sake of not getting ourselves killed may have fallen a little bit by the wayside.
Did anything of note occur in Brescia 4 years ago?
4
months ago.
Or 4 months ago, sorry.
Not that you know of.
Okay.
So
but this tells us that they've been here for a while prior to that first announcement.
Yeah.
Which tells us that this is just a hypothesis, but if they've been here for 4 months, I wonder if not everybody was on those ships when once we get in there, we might have to deal with some more dwarves.
I mean, we're definitely going to have to deal with some more dwarves because I suspect the people who they needed access to the Temple of Dreams and the books within. So I have to assume there are definitely going to be people at the temple actively doing things.
We were
Interjection.
told that there is the possibility that there are still followers of the God in the Dream here.
Interjection. gunfire begins to erupt from further inside the island.
I say that happens, and then Fairlos, not even looking in that direction, just points.
Right. We were told that there might still be followers of the God in the Dream. What
Yes.
if they are not willingly working with the dwarves?
Or
Fun.
whatever it is that attacked these ships. If they've been here for 4 months, then whatever it is that attacked these ships, yeah, I'm not sure.
They have contact
I'm
with
gonna-
outside forces.
Yeah.
I want to posit that there's a chance that the memories of these creatures, these dwarves, is being
Messed with.
Manipulated.
messed with, because if they don't have information about, I mean, it's exactly what we were just talking about, but if they don't have the information about how long things have been happening here, something may be affecting their memory or their ability to retain information.
Like
Fair.
suddenly Shakespeare being a thing
I
in
was
this
about
world.
to ask, Sim, how
Yeah.
far
Weaving
back
and
do my
unweaving the
memories of
fabric of the
knowing about
world.
Shakespeare go?
Oh, you guys remember it from as
Like
early
childhood?
as your teenagers, childhood, depending on
Okay.
the person.
Yeah, we
My
don't know
copy
any.
of the complete works is
I'm trying to get like a
dog-eared and
baseline.
worn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only reason that we know that Shakespeare didn't exist, and this is a weird
'Cause of
timeline, is
Oberon.
because Oberon remembers it because super powerful Fae.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
at
wanted to
least
get
one
like
of
a
you
baseline.
at least one of you definitely owns a copy and has for a very, very long time owns a copy of the Bard's Complete Works.
That she
Um,
lent.
Yeah.
Yep.
With the gunfire happening, I think also, so I'm going to point and then I'm going to go, well, we can't stay here on the beach. We
No, we
need to
can't.
go figure out what that is, because I'm going to make an assumption that is where the temple is.
Aye, aye, Captain, lead the way.
And yeah,
Okay.
I think
Remember to stay within range of Rivulet because we are very sneaky right now.
And I like to be able to mend your wounds.
Everybody make a stealth check.
before I make a stealth check, I'm going to do one last thing. I'm going to very gently kick the body back into the water.
Okay, fair enough.
And then I will make a stealth check.
Oh, God.
With my plus 0.
No.
I got a 20.
Plus 10.
Yep.
Remember,
I
everything
got
is plus
a
10.
20.
I also
Uh,
got a dirty thank Rivulet 20.
Who are we missing?
Me.
21.
Oh, there we go. Okay,
Oh, I
so
should've-
Rivulet, you just saved all our butts.
I'm guessing that 24 includes your plus 10 already. Yeah.
It does.
Otherwise, it'd be like, that's crazy. That's crazy right there.
Yes, I
Um,
naturally have a plus 16 to my stealth at level 5.
Okay, so 20, 21, 20, and 24. So everybody's above 20 for this.
I love that
Um,
the biggest one of us is the sneakiest one of us right now.
No, I have the lowest one.
The Dragonborn is
Oh.
the sneakiest one.
Well, tallest then, because Fairlos is much bigger than me this way.
Yeah, I'm wider. She's taller.
I did not realize that. Okay.
I'm a chunky.
So you guys
I
are not
am-
Kitty.
I'm a brick house.
you guys are not on this map yet. You
Okay.
are approaching slowly in case you don't want to just immediately walk into whatever this situation is.
Yes, please.
From the south.
Yeah, from the south.
Okay.
But you guys can see from the trees, it looks like, as you get closer and closer, the gunfire dies down slower and slower. And by the time
Oh
you get
my
into
God.
visual range, there are no more shots being fired.
Okay.
Oh.
What you see, not just because, so there are a bunch of bodies that
Yeah.
look like they've been already prepared for burial. However, there are a bunch of fresh bodies of dwarves. And oh no, I don't want to grab that. Standing here, a number of merfolk and some sort of tiefling here.
Of course he's hot.
Oh, he's a cutie. Okay.
Dominique, roll a history check.
Okay.
Hmm.
History is not my best skill.
15's
I
going to
believe
get you there.
Okay.
This is Osmond Roche, heir to the House of Roche, one of the what is it? Yeah, one of the three primary noble houses of Brescia.
Y'all see Dominique just tense up.
And alongside him are a number of more generic, we'll just call them generic merfolk, but there are two other that you recognize.
Mm-hmm.
This is Seraphin Sarte. I'm sorry, Sart. And Lancel Monet.
Lancel's kind of, he's cute and he's in an adorable kind of way.
Seraphin who?
Sart.
Sart. All these are the other two are from more minor noble houses. And it looks like they are taking a moment after getting into some sort of a gunfight. There are wounded merfolk amongst them, but none of them have fallen.
Okay. As far as the noble houses, where does Gemma stand as far as typically before the upheaval?
Okay, so there are let me just go over to the page I have set up for this specifically.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. Okay. So there are three primary noble houses. Gemot,
Mm-hmm.
The Lemaire, which are the current ruling noble class,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Roche, which are a major house, but they're not. I said earlier, I misspoke. They're not one of the major three.
Okay.
The other, they're high ranking. They're like as high ranking as one of those second level nobles can be.
Okay.
The third house is the Fontaines. So if you need me to repeat any of that, I absolutely can.
No, I've got it. I
And-
just want to
Okay.
write down Fontaine.
And those three named people are technically from three different houses.
Mm-hmm.
Are they houses? I mean, I'm going to ask a question that I don't think Fairlos would think to ask or know the answer to, but are they known to work together, or is this kind of a weird thing?
The Roche are loyalists, like strong loyalists. They're essentially the hatchet men. If we're gonna let's give you a touchstone. Oh God, what's the name of that? The house and not the house, the Hound and the Mountain.
From Game of
to the
Thrones?
Lannisters.
Yeah.
That's the Roche.
Ah.
Got it.
And the
I
other
can't remember
two,
the name of their house, but it doesn't
Clegane.
matter. Clegane, that's it.
Yeah.
and the
And the other two are minor houses under Roche.
Okay, all right. I was just kind of
Um,
curious if that was if this was a weird thing to see them together or not, but it is not. Okay.
As soon as I catch who it is, Dominique kind of holds a hand out to the side and gestures everybody to the wood line. It's Brescia. Brescia is the one who attacked. That man over there, he's a noble of Hashgrowth. What was his name? I'm sorry.
Roche.
Roche.
Yes, I said. I'm sorry, I said Roche, but what was his name?
Osmond.
Osmond.
Osmond Roche.
There.
His
You
name
should be
is
able
Osmond.
to see it on. I'm gonna make sure you guys can see all the names on the tokens.
Thanks.
Excellent. And we get spells.
His name is Osmond. What do I know about Osmond, personality-wise?
No D.
Last you heard, he was engaged to be married to one of the princesses. Not one
Is
of,
it the one that
princess.
I was involved with?
When you say involved with,
The one
what do you
who
mean
hired me?
exactly?
Oh.
Not that level of involved. Platonically involved with.
The name of the princess. Hold on, let me just grab her name real quick. Is Malice Lemaire.
Elise Lamé.
Who you've never seen. In fact, she's been the princess heir for quite some time, but has remained out of the public life. She doesn't go to
Okay.
parties along with other nobles. She spends most of her time in the palace near her mother, the her Supreme Majesty Sybil the 7th.
He is, last I heard, he was the betrothed of the heir apparent to the throne, Melis.
Quick question. From where we are, you said we can see there's obviously been bodies that have been prepared for burial, the ones that are all wrapped.
Sure.
Obviously, we can't see anything except the size of these creatures. Are they dwarves or are
No.
they? Okay.
They're normal sized peoples.
Okay.
Dwarfs are normal.
This is true, but yeah, these are
Human and elf.
Human-sized peoples.
they are not dwarves.
Taller and thinner.
Yeah.
Taller and
And
thinner than dwarves.
The other two individuals that are there, what are their reputations?
The other two,
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot of reputations to them, other than that they are cadet. Is the right word? Cadet
Okay.
houses under the.
So,
under the
like,
Roche.
Seraphin and Linsal do not have standout reputations for being particularly cruel or efficient or anything like that.
No, not actually. Although you've maybe heard that Lancel is kind of a little dumb.
Okay, good to know.
Unintelligent.
He is not
you-
the
yes,
sharpest
sorry.
tool in the box. So what we the gentleman who is commanding them, Osman, he is formidable. If he is here, then you safely guess the crown is involved.
Hmm.
Well, this was obviously not the first battle of the day because
No.
of all those bodies there, so either this is a retaliatory force from an initial assault, or there's even a third party involved because those are not dwarves.
Correct. And my question comes in. We need to know before we go in, do we want to go back to Brescia or do we want to kill them? Because if they see me, it's going to be one of the two options, most likely. Given the situation with my family.
I feel like if we leave now, we are never getting back on this island.
No, I am all for going forward. I just need to know which way we want to proceed beyond that. Do we want to go to Brescia? Because chances are, if they see me, they are going to want to take me back to stand for the crimes of my family. The alternative is, do we put them down?
I would like to assume that if they knew that you were a student at the academy.
It will not matter. My father and my sister took up arms against the throne, against a woman who is corrupted with power and seeks to kill those who stand against her. She is not a rational woman. She is an oppressor.
That I agree with, but as far as the people here who are going to be on the ground are concerned, if they feel... If it is explained that you have been a student at the academy and they still feel like you need to be brought back, then I will kill them in defense.
No,
I will not attack them ahead of time until
the people here are not going to be the problem. He is going to be the problem. If
Right,
he
that's-
brings,
That's what I'm
if he
saying.
brings-
No, that's what Fairlos is saying. Fairlos
Okay.
is saying that if we make contact with these people and their first instinct is to bring you back, even after hearing that you were in no way involved in what's going on there, if they're only going to take you back because of your name and your association with who has done what in Brescia, then the outcome is the same either way. We will not let that happen.
They will, because if nothing else, I am a piece they can use to bring my father to the kingdom.
Are we
Well, all the more reason for us to take Fairlos's side on this.
Oh, I understand. I just want to know whether I am going to be nice or am I going to go in knowing that they are dead men walking.
These guys are starting to move in your direction towards the south. They are carrying, all of them are, well, not all of them, I should say. Osmond's not, but everybody else is carrying some amount of books, either under their arms, in their hands, in front of them.
Also,
Um,
I'm willing to bet that the people that they killed are the people who belong to this temple, which is a all the more reason, in my opinion, that we should not let them leave.
I have no
When
problem
did we
putting them
become
into the ground.
murderers?
I'm
I
not.
have
I
no
am.
problem with putting people who support the things they put into the ground. I have
I'm
no
also
problem with
not
that.
necessarily advocating murder. I'm with kind of with you on this, Rivulet. I don't really like the idea of killing somebody, but I don't think that we should let them leave. We need to stop them.
I
I know the
also
things they support. I know the things they do. I have no problem with seeing their blood on the ground.
I will not preemptively attack anyone who is not attacking me or my crew. That being said, once again, if we go to talk to them, and
What are we doing here specifically?
I think we need to.
We're students on a research assignment.
What are we researching?
I am a cleric of the God in the Heart, and there is a temple here I am
we go.
researching. And and Lauren will say this above board because they're coming this way. With that being said, if you're all okay with this, Fairlos is going to step out into view.
I will step out with Fairlos.
okay.
Wait.
I'll
Okay.
wait. Yeah. That's
No,
why
I mean,
said it
it
above
just seems
board.
like, well, I mean, I think there's a big difference between Fairlo stepping out and Dominique, who's indicated that murder is on, stepping out. Like,
To be fair, as soon as Dominique steps out, Osmond stops, looks in your direction immediately, and goes to one knee.
Hello, Monsieur Roche. How are you? How's your mom
You-
greets you?
You, how's Jim? What? That's I'm okay. All right. How's Jamo? Cool. I was not. I thought you said that you weren't able to come to the island.
School is what it is. I was put on assignment.
Uh-huh. Well, and you hear he whispers something, and you hear a
All right,
message
Sim, I
spell.
need clarification because this may be the player confused. I just want to
You are not. Your player is not confused. I don't
Okay,
think.
cool.
But go ahead and ask anyway, just to be sure.
I was just going to make sure that it was known that Dominique left to attend school.
It probably was. You can't know for sure how
Okay.
well that got out into the circles or
Okay,
everything.
but it was known that she had left.
There is a major piece of information you do not have
Okay.
right now,
Okay.
and that is where if there is any confusion, that would be what's causing it. So you're
Cool,
doing
cool.
you're doing fine.
Okay.
What's up, Esqua?
Asuka
Yeah.
has something.
Yeah, I want to roll an insight check on this guy.
Okay, go ahead. What's the question?
The question that I have is where does his confusion lie? In yeah, give me a second to figure out what it is I need to roll and then to do that roll.
Also, it's super weird that Dominique's like, yeah, this guy is gonna, you know,
Oh yeah,
He's gonna
no, I'm
murder
straight
us,
up
and then
capture me because of
Fuck
the
inside.
rebellion, and now is bowing down. Like,
Yeah.
it's a
Something else
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
out.
I mean, if you
Mhm.
want to make an inside check, Dominique is thrown as fuck.
No, that and that's fine, but like the confusion, like there is confusion in Essequa's brain in I mean, there's an understandable amount of paranoia that Dominique has with anything Brescia related. I get that. There is confusion in Dominique's reaction in that if they see me, they will immediately take me in. But there's also confusion in his reaction to into the house that she gave.
Yeah.
So that's where I am. And that is a 12.
I mean, other than the fact of the matter is, the things your player has clocked are true. You're not going to be able to make any much insight into the whys of it. Unfortunately,
No, and that's fine. Like if my player knowledge and my character knowledge match
Sure.
right now, then I'm satisfied because
cool.
that's information that I will file away for later.
But as I was saying, you hear the message spell in your head, Dominique.
Mm-hmm.
You told me
I
to
allow
come
it,
here.
by the way.
Is it a willing?
I get to choose because I have the ring of mind shielding.
Oh yes, that's true. I forgot about your ring of mind shield. Thank you for reminding me. So listen, you said you weren't going to be able to come out here yourself, and you sent me to do this, and then you show up anyway. What was the point of giving me the orders to kill all the dwarves if you were gonna show up yourself?
We need to speak privately.
And why are you pretending to be a Jameau?
Trust me. For now. In front of these people, they do not know. Trust me.
Okay. As that conversation concludes, grab the token real quick. Did that happen? One moment. I've sworn I grabbed him already. You guys see, emerging from the rooftop of the temple behind you, a flump. Go ahead and pop him on here.
Oh my god, he has a pipe.
And a monocle?
And it's a bubble pipe.
With a monocle and a pipe, carrying books in one. The token is the token, but he's carrying books on one side, and then in the other, one of his tentacles is holding a revolver.
Flump with a gun.
And he is
with a gun.
And he is coming down, and he says, "Listen up, you sideways assholes! I fought the dwarves. I'll fight you too." And then
I love him.
we're going to go ahead and end the session there.
Okay.
What is happening?
Well, at least
This is a double cross that I'm a part of and I don't know. What the fuck?
Yeah. And the flump is probably the only one who's supposed to be here.
I think you're right.
You're right.
I am in love with him and I don't even know who he is.
Well, I think Fairlos also in this moment is like, that is someone who was here before all of this crap went down. Now I've got someone else to protect. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh boy. I love it.
Are we playing next week? Please tell me we're playing
We're
next
It's a
not.
bonus action
I
next
made the
week.
We're
mistake
not
last week.
until
Yeah.
next month, right?
We play on the 1st, and that's the last
Okay.
game
That's
of
the
the year
last game
too.
of the year.
Oh.
Last week I made a mistake and said this was supposed to be a bonus action, and I was wrong. But next week for sure is going to be a bonus action,
Right.
And then we play on the 1st, and that will be the end of our games for the year until January 5th.
Something like that.
believe.
So, some of us are going to PAX, and some of us have a nutcracker. And the
Yeah,
us might be me and me and me.
And I'm just going to Christmas.
I'm gonna sit around and wish I had more D&D.
I know. I'm going to be sitting in a pit going, I'm having fun, but I also kind of wish
Right.
I was D&D.
And
I
I know
wish
I knew
was
you
hanging
guys
out
were
with
gonna.
a flump with a gun.
I know.
Right.
I mean, if you have the option of a flump with a gun, why is that not your immediate choice?
My partner has been playing squirrel with a gun because of course he has been. So, but it just rolled
That
off my
tracks.
tongue. Yeah.
that tracks for him.
Roscoe the flump with a gun.
His
I wasn't
name is
sure.
Roscoe?
Yeah, his name is Roscoe.
Oh my gosh.
I wasn't sure if I was going to end on the sort of like double cross thing or on Roscoe there. I was waiting to see
you
how
chose
things.
wisely.
I was waiting to
This
see how
is
things
great.
shook out.
That's amazing.
Oh
All right.
my god.
Well, with that, let me do the credits one more time, and then we'll go over each of the players. Cartography by Shan Peku. Cartography by Shan Peku Sci-Fi. Maps by Luke Stratton. Maps by
Don't die.
Maps by Eightfold Paper. Music by Tabletop Audio. Character tokens by Greek46. Custom tokens by Shan Peku Tokens. Overlays by Brian Podell of Exploding Dice. Custom world map by Freckles Sketches. And thank you to our moderators, Billith, Strike Red Kite, and Katie.
It was so much moderating tonight. Y'all need to chat, you really need to clean your act up. I am horrified by your behavior this evening.
Too many puns today. You need to
So
scale it
many.
back. Scale back some of the. Oh God, I said scale, and we're in a nautical.
And you're a dragonborn.
And you're
And I'm a dragonborn.
It was just all over.
I
It
have
was
to
all
go.
over.
Goodbye.
Yeah, no, you're dead to all of us.
We should just end the show, Latia. That's good to just end the show.
Good night,
We should just
everybody.
wrap up.
But before we do that, does anyone have anything they want to plug? Let's start with Katie.
I do. On Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch me and four other players and one wonderful DM over on Unmade Gaming, where we are playing a game called Vaesen. It's a super creepy Nordic inspired creepy game set in the 18 somethings in New England, and it's getting real intense. If you like creepy, you should show up Thursday 8 p.m. It's gonna be good stuff. Unmade Gaming on Twitch.
I'm Lauren Urban. You can see all the stuff I'm doing at lauren-urban.com, where I've just removed a social media that I'm not really using anymore. So you can find me on my website or at Blue Sky under Obo Lauren, that's where I put all the stuff that I'm doing and the things that I'm doing and the jobs that I'm trying to get hired for, all that kind of stuff. And that's all for me.
Yeah, I am also no longer on another social media. So long, and thanks for all the fishing. So that is nothing new is going there. I am also over on Blue Sky as at Dreamwisp. And that's kind of it right now.
Same here. I am also over on Where the Skies Are Blue.
They're so blue.
They're
and it's
so
wonderful.
blue. It's so
There were
lovely.
kitten pictures. Like
I actually see posts from people that I'm following. It's incredible.
I have
Goblin Katie
found
on all the socials, by the way. Sorry, I forgot that.
I have found artists that I had loved once upon a time, and the algorithm stole them from me, and now people are sharing them onto my timeline, and I'm finding them again, and it's great.
Nice.
Also, I am committing to the Daily Dio. So
Daily Dio.
Thank you.
The Daily Dio, it's a daily picture of the dog.
Oh, Dio, your
Yeah.
baby Dio. Okay, I thought you were saying the letters D
The
and
bestest
O.
boy.
Yes. So if
Dio
you
is
follow
best.
me on Blue Sky, you
you
will
should.
get a daily picture of Dio every morning, usually around 8 o'clock Central, because that's when I'm walking and have the opportunity to find one. So that's about all I've got going on today. Until PAX, and then come find me at PAX. I will share it now because I'll probably forget on the first, but we're doing Lauren, you're a part of this panel, right?
I'm on 3 different panels that I will find out about now. Hold on.
Is it no? You're on. Is it ethical to keep your best friend as a pet if they're a werewolf and other such quandaries? That's kind of
Yes.
that's the general title of the panel. But
You
that's the only
actually
one that-
nailed that. I just looked up the thing.
Nice.
Why wouldn't it be?
But see, that's what we're going to get into.
Yeah.
And other such quandaries. So come to PAX and have a good time listening to us debate the ethics of things like that.
I love this idea.
And that's all I got.
I'm going to say a couple quick things. First off, yes, you should absolutely follow all these people, but definitely follow Latia, not just for Daily Dio, but because she's awesome. Also, here's my suggestion for Blue Sky. There's tons of suggestions of stuff out there. There's a feed that you can add to Blue Sky that is quiet posters, which is amazing because it literally is, here are people who don't post that often that you follow, not just random people, that we're just going to make sure here's a feed for those people, and that has been the best thing ever of all time.
It's pretty great.
It is pretty great. I'm on that panel with Latia. I'm also on the fallacy of the TTRPG family with a whole bunch of awesome people, and I'm also on date or do battle, which is exactly what it sounds like. I haven't figured out which of my characters I'm going to bring yet, but I'm definitely going to. Yes, sorry. Go ahead, Sim.
Complete side note that's unrelated, and I apologize, Sim. Lauren, I have put in a pre-order, so we're gonna have to play Stacia and or Kira again, and I feel like we need people who are scholarly and scholastic there. So
All right.
I'm neither of those things. What are you talking about?
Essicle will
but
join
I
you.
bought Tusk Love.
Oh, that thing.
Wondering
Oh,
about that.
that I'm very scholarly
That
about.
thing.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know it first.
Fair enough.
Dying.
And I think that's it. So yeah. Lauren, did you want to mention that we were going to send people over to?
Yes, thank you. So we're gonna show our credits, and then after the credits, we're gonna go raid Dungeon Scrawlers, where two awesome folks, both Trevor and Aaron, are currently playing through Return of the Obra Dinn. So if you want to see two professional writers playing a game that is pretty much all about story, stick with us through the credits. We're gonna go raid them.
And I don't have an outro yet, so don't die. And we'll see you. I'll see you next week at the very least. Peace.
Bye.